Hey,
Hey,
we're back
we
for
are back.
another weekly movie stream, Dave. Feels good,
Yes,
man. Feels good.
feels great. I hate that I can't talk about movies until we're on camera.
I know it's actually frustrating because there's so many like things I want to see or like things I think about. I'm like, oh, I
Uh-huh.
gotta call Dave. Nope,
Can't,
can't,
just can't.
can't. It's getting especially hard since we're starting production for season 2 of the
Yeah,
podcast.
it's so
And
hard.
so we're watching all these movies, and the first person I want to call is you
Yeah, I
to
know.
complain or whatever. And I'm like, not yet.
Fuck,
We'll get
can't
there.
yet. That
We'll
sucks.
get there. So I haven't actually talked to you in like a minute, actually. Things have been crazy. Life's been
Yeah.
crazy. Um, you know, how's things been with you? What are you doing? See anything good?
No, I
Maybe spit take on camera.
love it. That's my goal every single time you're on camera with me. So I no, I haven't. I just the movies that we've talked about on previous streams, but no, I haven't really had time to watch much anything else other than what we're uh doing production for.
I feel that. Boobs are cool in the chat. What's up? Welcome.
We're gonna call you boobs because why not? That's fun.
I'm fine with that. I do have so over the weekend, I went back to Ohio to hang out with family for a bit. We went down to Kentucky. It was
Yeah.
nice. Our mod, my brother Jordan, he was there, and his kids were there. They're adorable. I love them. So we were hanging out in one of the rooms, and there's movies playing in the background, and Jaws was on. And I was like, all right, I love Jaws. So it was kind of on. Uh, hey, it's Brandon Hubbard, boobs.
That's who
I love
Bubes
you.
is. Yeah,
Um,
Twatty, listen, neither of us like Ohio. We can't change that. We're from here.
it was worse. I went into Ohio and then I went down to Kentucky.
Oh,
It was a bad setup.
horrible.
Anyway, we're we're watching Jaws in the background, and my niece comes in, Parker. She's the
Uh-oh.
cutest little kid in the world. And so I was kind of like nervous, the TV's playing
Uh-huh.
Jaws, and the kid comes in the room, and I look up, and she looks up at the TV, and Jaws like comes out, and there's blood and shit everywhere. And I look at her face, and she goes, "Baby shark." She was smiling and like just having a good old time. It's like a horrible nightmare on screen, and she's just do 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 do.
That's so fucking funny. No, 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 nope, nope. That's actually the opposite of Baby Shark.
So I guess that movie didn't age well in terms of scares.
Can't even scare a child. Oh man.
Oh, adorable, adorable. Oh, Colby one up in the chat. What's up?
Uh
Oh, somebody's setting some fires here pretty
listen,
quick.
we discussed this last stream
We
and we will
discuss
not
this every stream.
I know we will not be doing it again. Actually, we probably will as soon as fucking pizzas gets in the goddamn chat.
Oh man, as soon as pizzas gets here, it's gonna get bad in a good way for you.
Listen,
Bad for you, great for me.
I will rage quit. Okay.
Oh man, I do have to say, I was kind of joking before. Kentucky is beautiful. We're down at Cumberland Falls, so
Yeah.
I'm not up in here trying to hate on Kentucky or
No.
anybody who lives in Kentucky.
Listen, I'll talk shit on Kentucky all day long, but I lived in Kentucky for 2 years and I liked it better than any place in Ohio I ever lived. So
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember that place, man.
yeah.
I didn't. The only thing I mean, we played shows in Kentucky. Um, Boobs knows that. He was there for quite a bunch.
Twatty in the chat saying that I can't rage quit. Hey, listen, you're not my real mom.
Dave's gonna rage quit if you all keep bringing up this Scream versus Halloween debate.
Absolutely. There's no doubt in my fucking mind.
I'm just saying, Wendy. Wendy is gonna, whenever she shows up,
Oh god.
I'm gonna have to tell her to behave herself.
Listen, I will not be teamed up on again.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll see. We'll see how this goes. So I do have some things. We had a new episode come out
Yeah,
of the podcast proper this week.
sure
It's
did.
Alien Invasion Horror, right? So
Mhm.
we did A Quiet Place 2018 versus Signs, the 2002 movie. And so it was a really fun episode, but I
It
do have to
was,
say
yeah.
there's some movie news, Dave. We got some
Uh-oh.
stuff going on here. Some
Hit
things are
me.
percolating. So turns out, obviously, A Quiet Place Part 2 came out
Yes.
this past summer, last summer, 2021. I disliked it a lot. I thought it was completely unnecessary. And so to add to my not fury, but I don't really care anymore. It was just
Mm.
unnecessary. But a new sequel or prequel is coming out called A Quiet Place Day One. I guess it's about the first day
We
of
saw the first day in part
in
2.
A Quiet Place Part Two. So that's why I already think this is even going to be more unnecessary.
Yeah, a little bit. But you know what? It's probably because everybody's like, excuse me, where the fuck is John Krasinski?
I know they're like, we need another one just to get John Krasinski's face back on the screen.
It's exactly what it is.
Yeah, he's not directing this one, but
Wait, what?
no, he handed it over. Let's see. I have a Variety article up here. They're handing it over to um Michael Sarnowski. I don't know who that is, but he's a man who is directing this. Um, and
He's
good
a
for him.
man. Mhm.
He does stuff. It's I don't know. I don't care. I just don't care. A Quiet Place Part 2 is so fucking unnecessary. It hurts me. And I thought it was a total waste of time. And that was my first movie back in theaters with the
Yeah.
pandemic. I was like, oh, I'm
Oh,
gonna go
okay.
see part 2 in
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
theater. And I like went all out. I got a bunch of snacks, got a couple beers, and I left not happy.
That's funny because I liked the second one.
I know you did.
I liked the second one. And not as much as the first one, obviously, but
Sure.
I'm just such a like post apocalypse fan. And obviously it's alien invasion, but like
Yeah.
that's the apocalypse.
Yeah, and it's fine to have a wrong opinion, Dave.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying it's okay that you don't like it.
it's- it doesn't make fucking sense though. They solved what they could do to the aliens in the first
Uh-huh.
one,
Yeah.
and they kind of do that in the beginning, and then just kind of forget about it, split up for no reason, have a bunch of shit going on for no fucking reason, introduce characters for no fucking reason, and then the movie ends the same way as the first one did. So I got a full circle. Like they took my money essentially. They stole my money from me and gave me the same movie but shittier. So that's how I feel about it.
well, well,
Where's the lie? Where's the lie, Dave?
well, listen, we got to see a fucking radio station recording booth. So
Cool. Boobs is right though. Don't watch the
uh
sequel. It is completely unnecessary. The first one ended perfectly. It was a nice little singular like encapsulated film and story,
mhm.
and we didn't need any more. I didn't need any more, and I wasted my time. Exactly. How many times could the aliens just? I don't know. It's dumb. Um, this and they
Yeah.
show the aliens a ton in the sequel,
Yeah,
so
they
it
do.
kind of loses its effectiveness, for me. And then every decision is like the wrong decision
Yeah, well,
made by
yeah.
everybody. Oh,
That's that, but it's a horror movie. So
but like in so they solved so many problems in the first one and then had the same exact problems that they couldn't solve in the second one. It's like, what do we do? I have no idea. And I don't know. It's just, oh God, it infuriated me to a larger degree than it probably should have. But I think just because I was so amped and I went and saw it as my first time back in the theater, and it was just like a gut punch.
I I mean, I don't know. I
Stole
liked
my
it.
money, Dave.
I liked it. So
Okay, well, wrong. I have some more movie news.
okay, hit
If
me.
you're
Of
interested, this
course.
one I think you'll be pretty excited about. They just announced the Mortal Kombat sequel is moving forward officially. at New Line Cinema. Same director as the first one.
Oh, yes.
Yes. So we did do our third episode of
Yes,
the
we did.
podcast.
Mm-hmm.
We did martial arts movies. Dave, you chose Mortal Kombat 2021, and I chose the Thai film The Protector, which is great. You should go see it. I don't know if
listen, I obviously think that everybody should go see Mortal Kombat, but also I do think everybody should see The Protector because it's a lot of broken bones.
It's bonkers beyond all reason.
Broken bonkers.
It's
bronkers.
It's the most fantastic fight movie I've ever seen. You know, if you know,
Crazy.
we talked about this in the episode, but they created their own form of Muay Thai martial arts. Not Mai Tai martial arts.
He said Mai Tai in the fucking episode.
That was I didn't say it in the episode.
Yeah,
I almost
bloopers.
did. Yeah, we cut that out because
that's
pretty dumb and I suck at talking. But yeah, no, it's such a weird film, and I think they had a Protector Part 2 or something come out, but yes, boobs. Yes. That is with Tony Jaa, and Tony Jaa's like fighting is just full blown on display. Insane. They shoot it in a bunch of like wide angles and like really long takes, so you get to see all this stuff play out in like real time. So many broken bones.
So many elephants. Broken bones. So many, and they're real elephants too.
They are real elephants. Ted, welcome to the chat, my
What's
man.
What's up, Ted?
Fat Batman just got married. Oh yes, our old friend Ben Affleck. Batfleck. Yeah, he got married to the love of his life, Gigli co-star Jennifer Lopez.
Listen, my question is,
congrats.
Do Hollywood actors actually have loves of their lives?
I doubt that.
Just love of this current moment until they have sex with somebody else?
It's a good question. Ted, to answer your question here, I love Tarkovsky. My favorite is The Mirror. But I did, and Stalker's really great too, and Solaris is really great. It's so long. I had to watch it in multiple stints. Not gonna lie, it's really long, but it's really great. I watch The Mirror probably once a year.
Yeah, I have not even heard of. Actually, I might have heard. You might have told me about Tarkovsky.
I probably have.
I think
probably
you have.
About it with you.
Maybe we saw a trailer for something, but no, I don't. I personally have never seen any of his films. And boobs. Yeah, he definitely kicks out a street light like from standing level. Tony does in The Protector.
Dude, there's literally, if you don't want to watch the movie, you should watch the movie. You should absolutely watch the movie front to back. But if you don't, look up a compilation on YouTube or something. It's fucking insane. The greatest fighting I've seen in a film
or
ever.
You could, and I don't know, I'm just suggesting, listen to our episode.
You could also do that. I have plenty of jokes. Hey, crap, pizza's in the chat. Dave's worst fucking nightmare showed up. But yeah, definitely go watch it if you like martial arts movies or just like fucking weird movies.
Yeah, I agree. It is a fucking super weird movie. It's a super weird movie. Pizzas, you missed it. I will rage quit if you bring up Scream.
Dave is just this close to snapping if you bring up Scream.
Damn it!
Well, I guess it's a solo podcast. You all are in for a terrible time.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Dave, so what's great about oh, okay, hold on a second. The chat popping off. Let me see.
Popping off.
I don't know anything actually about any of those movies. So Ted in the chat here, asking if I like anything by Wong Kar-wai. I have not heard of these movies.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna
screenshot this. I don't know a ton of Asian cinema. I don't. But I feel like I've kind of dipped my toes in here in the last 10 or so years. So I'm open to any and all suggestions. Feel free. We have a Discord. Feel free to leave any suggestions or for the podcast or anything you think we would like to watch. Please.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're always watching movies.
Oh,
So
literally always. Like literally, we're doing it for like a sort of job, and when we're not, we're like, hey, let's go watch this movie.
yeah, I know. Even when we're like, we don't have anything to do for like the podcast or the
Yeah.
stream, it's like, what do you want to do? Let's watch a movie.
It's the best.
We're
That's why,
we're
like,
beyond
listen,
saving.
if you want to go into our Discord and we suggest it, definitely give us your suggestions for movies. Ted, looks like you've got like 6 suggestions now for us to watch, which is great. If you
Please.
suggest a TV series, I will flip my shit.
I won't.
No,
I might.
I won't. I'm just kidding. But I don't have time to watch an entire TV, especially if I have not caught up on it. Like I am struggling. I am struggling so hard to keep up with The Boys.
Listen, people, Dave doesn't have time for this shit. Okay, it's movies are nothing for this guy.
And sometimes not even that.
And don't you dare suggest anything with a sequel. Dave doesn't have time. Leave the boy alone.
Hang on. If it's a sequel, I might only watch that one.
Oh, fair. Coming soon to a podcast near you. Sequels. We didn't know were sequels, but we watched them anyway.
God damn right.
Rip.
That's next week. You guys have to check that out.
Oh man. So sorry. I have to say this. To Ted in the chat. I love Mindhunter, and it probably won't come back, but I hope it does. I love it. We're not talking TV, but I love it. Just so you know. Oh, interesting. So Pizza's here in the chat has he works in the industry. He's a great editor and a really close friend of mine. And the man knows a bunch of stuff. So you probably connect with him in our Discord as well. He's got a million great stories. And you should listen to them. I like listening to them.
Listen, I would love to back you up on that, but Pizzas is acting like I shot his mom.
He might have.
He just said he hopes I never finish The Boys. Why? It's just a movie, Pizzas. I can have a different opinion than you.
It's not a movie, Dave. It's a lifestyle, okay? Get on board. Get on fucking board, dog.
It was never a phase, Mom.
Oh man. We should have a stream one week, Dave, where we get Pizzas on or somebody and talk about some of our crazy industry stories. Because I have a bunch of them. I know Josh has a bunch of them. I know you have a bunch of them. It's crazy.
I do. I have a couple. I don't want to say I have a bunch, but I do have a couple.
I feel like I have so many bizarre ass stories.
I know you do. I have the one.
I could sit here and talk crazy stories.
Holy shit! Look at what Ted in the chat just said. He grew up with Eli Wallach, who's the family of the Ugly from The Good, Bad, the Ugly.
Dude, hot damn. That's amazing.
Incredible.
Oh, well, shit, Ted, we're going to get you on the stream too. We'll just like cycle some people in, get their cool industry stories. That actually sounds like a lot of fun. We should do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. 1000%. Yeah.
We always need, we could always talk about stuff, but interesting stuff we should definitely keep in mind, because I can talk about pointless bullshit forever.
Oh, totally. I mean, that's kind of the best, if you ask me, the pointless shit.
I live under the banner of pointless bullshit.
Don't make me think too hard now. I don't want to think too hard. Get the fuck out of here.
So I think that's all my. Nope, just kidding. I have one more bit of really great movie news.
All right, hit me.
This relates to next week's podcast episode. We're doing monster movies. We're doing Godzilla King of the Monsters versus Cloverfield.
Yep.
Which I had never seen before.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved. But turns out Kurt Russell, Snake Plissken himself, and his son Wyatt Russell, they just joined an Apple TV Plus live action Godzilla series. It's like Godzilla and the Titans.
Like the same Titans?
I don't know. I don't know how related it is, or what Titans are going to be involved. All I know is that I have a link to an article.
All right, hot take. Stop doing Godzilla stuff.
Okay, not a hot take. I agree with this take. There's a lot of stuff when we were when we were discussing for season 1 and our monster
Yeah.
movie episode.
Mhm, mhm.
Uh, I think I forget who somebody said like a Godzilla movie, and I'm like, which one? Like Shin Godzilla, Godzilla, maybe Godzilla, or Godzilla, King of the Monsters. And I'm like, wait, wait.
What about Godzilla versus Kong?
Oh shit, I forgot about Godzilla and Kong. Yeah, it's confusing,
Oh,
and there's a lot. We should leave that to Japan. They're better at
hey,
that.
Ted, thanks for fucking following, man. We appreciate it.
Yes, hey, much appreciated, my dude. Actually, I think Jordan plays a thing. We can't hear it, but hopefully there is a little
Yeah,
sound thing
I
for
think
you.
there was. I
Good.
saw it pop up, but I didn't hear nothing.
Well, speaking of Jordan, if you're there, or Mod, how you feel about Godzilla, buddy? Are you a Godzilla fan?
No. Matthew Broderick is the only fan I have. And I don't even know how to pronounce his name properly.
Fair
Uh,
enough.
But all I
Listen,
know is that he runs down there with all them eggs, and I'm like, damn, I hate Godzilla.
Well, we learned Kyle Chandler, the actor, Godzilla stepped on his son. Turns out Godzilla King of the Monsters is a sequel. I didn't know that.
Neither did I. And I picked the fucking movie.
It was Dave's movie for next week's podcast episode. And whatever. We learned some stuff. I learned some stuff about Godzilla. I didn't know shit about it, but
Boobs, listen, that is not wrong of you to say. You're more than welcome to have your opinion. And you should absolutely listen to next week's episode. Because we actually talk about that exact thing. He says something about Cloverfield. He didn't like the style they decided to shoot the movie with, in that first person found footage style, I'm assuming.
Mhm.
But yeah, we definitely talk about it, and no spoilers, but you're wrong.
Dave himself firing off the shots. I had never seen Cloverfield before we did that episode because I get motion sick very easily.
Yes,
and
you do.
so when the movie came out, people are like, don't go see this thing. You're going to barf your fucking brains out. And I took that advice to heart. I don't want to barf. And so I finally watched this on a smaller screen, and I really liked it. And I do think the found footage style narratively really worked for the story they were trying to tell. I'm not the biggest found footage movie fan, but I was wildly surprised at how much I actually really liked the movie.
That's so crazy to me because I love found footage. I don't know
really
why.
don't, man.
I mean, when done right, I love it.
Well, and that's the problem. That's why I dislike it. When done well, I think there's great examples of it, but
Yeah.
there's so much shit. There's because they're cheap to make. They can be low effort. I think if they're utilized correctly and like the with the right story,
Yeah.
I think it enhances that story and like enhances the viewer experience. But when you're just like, hey, I have $200, a couple friends, and a fucking VHS camera, let's just walk around the woods for a couple days and make a movie, you're wasting my time. And
Yeah.
most found footage movies are kind of that way.
Well,
in my opinion, the stuff that
fair.
I've seen a bunch of them. 90% of them are a fucking waste of time.
Okay. Well, first and foremost, thank you for our mod for pointing out Big Chubs. Thanks for the follow. We appreciate it.
Yo, thank you, Big Chubs.
And
welcome.
I guess I just I'm a little biased because I had this great found footage idea for like a zombie movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I even, like, when I was younger, did like a little version with my friends. And so like I kind of have like a soft spot for that kind of stuff because like I did one.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I guess I like them.
No, I understand that. And I do have to point out too, Pizzas in the chat too. It's a J.J. Abrams Cloverfield that is a J.J. Abrams produced movie. But yes, it is a Matt Reeves directed film and written by Drew Goddard. If you've ever seen The Cabin in the Woods, I also watched that this weekend while being in a cabin in the woods. So that was fun.
That's hilarious.
But Yeah, listen, Matt Reeves is great, and we're gonna get more into Matt Reeves once our good friend Silver Thunder comes in the chat and
Yes,
we hop into some Batman movies.
absolutely.
Hey, Lemon's up in here.
Agreeing
Welcome
with
to the
me.
chat.
Finally, God, I
That's
get teamed up on.
I mean, that's a real
Hot take
bold
for you
move.
to. It's very bold.
'Cause
I appreciate it.
listen,
Pretty sure no one else in the chat does, but that's fine.
that's well,
Confirmed.
give
One time,
we got to give Dave a win. We got to give Dave a win every now.
I'll
and then.
take it. I'll take the few wins I can get.
one
The few
time,
wins I can
I bought a
legitimately
used
get.
GoPro on
Uh,
Facebook,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
I
no.
have found footage, and I did not want
No.
to find the footage.
No.
Oh, no.
It was very much an action cam.
Oh,
no.
fuck.
Too much action.
Yeah.
The wrong kind of action. Shut up, pizzas in the chat. Quit telling
Yeah.
people to
So
leave
I
my
have
team.
3 backups of it if anybody wants some. Yeah. So
No, I'm good. I mean, I'm
Uh,
good.
I don't have any personal found footage, but I've
no, hey
I've had some weird-
Abrams.
what?
No, hey
Huh?
Abrams. That's my director
I
name.
don't.
Oh, okay. It's good. It'll work for you. I believe. I
Sure.
believe in you.
Yeah.
So I used to work, Dave knows, I used to work at a Walgreens in high school and college, and I worked as a photo tech. And the shit I had to see
Listen,
in that
I
job,
can't even imagine, bro.
unfucking believable.
Mm-mm. Listen,
Unfucking believable.
Ted in the chat, don't get ahead of us.
Ted in the chat, he's on board. He knows what's up. So our season finale, I don't think this is any spoiler stuff, but our
Nah,
season
we can
finale of
say
the
it. Mhm.
podcast is found footage horror films.
Yes.
And so we're comparing and battling the Blair Witch Project and Paranormal Activity. It's a really fun time. It's a really fun episode. So
Yeah.
hang around for that.
Yeah.
But we'll definitely be talking about that on stream when that episode comes
Yes,
out.
absolutely. The week after. And Clubby one in the chat agreeing that it's the best found footage movie of all time. Well, I guess you have to find out which one wins in our season finale
Yeah, you will.
because
Well,
our word is law.
it's true. It's very true. It's what we say goes because we're super qualified. Everybody knows that.
Yeah, totally. We are professional film critics and not, as Blake has said, 2 dickheads with microphones.
Don't listen to us. So yes, I do agree though. It's in the chat. If you grew up near woods, the Blair Witch, it's an
Terrifying.
effective movie,
Mhm,
man.
Absolutely, I agree.
It's a totally effective film.
Listen, Chubbs, if you want to find out, you got to listen to the episode. I'm not giving that away.
I'm not going to tell you who wins.
No, absolutely not.
It's gonna be a good time. There's lots of anger, lots of
Lot anger.
opinions. I'm just saying. There's a
Yeah.
lot going on in that episode. It's gonna be fun.
Excuse me.
I do have to say, oh, we got fun facts in the chat. I love fun
Whoa.
facts. Woo, bring us your
Blake
fun
is
facts.
the fun facts guy.
Yes, let's do this. Fun fact about Eli Wallach. His nephew is A.O. Scott. No shit. No shit.
No idea what that is.
He's a film critic, for the New York Times.
Oh,
That's wild. A.O. Scott's had
Interesting.
some hot takes himself.
interessante.
Yeah. Yeah, man, we're gonna have to have everybody in this chat just on the stream at some point. It's be chaos. I'm not gonna be able to understand anything.
There's gonna be a big.
There's gonna be a lot of
mass
information.
voices.
Just-
Exactly. That's exactly how I imagined it going.
That's how my brain sounds. It's fine.
Oh, Lord.
No, it's good. So are there any there's some movies coming out. I just realized too. There's some stuff I want to see. Have you ever you have, because we've talked about this.
Have I?
When we went and saw Everything Everywhere All at Once, there was a
Mhm.
trailer for the movie Marcel the Shell with Shoes On,
Oh yeah.
which is a it's like an internet sketch essentially that it's like this cute little show. It's adorable. If you can find it, it's literally called Marcel the Shell with Shoes On. Jordan, if you can maybe provide a link to anybody curious. They made a feature-length film out of it. It's an A24 film, and it's a kids film, but I'm actually really looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah, I had not heard of it ever until someone pointed. I think I think you're the one that pointed it out. I've only heard Marcel the Shell because I have a cousin whose name is Marcella, and her screen name has always been Marcel the Shell.
Okay.
So I've always been like, "Oh, that's clever," and I had no idea it was a fucking thing already.
Oh, Chloe, one in
Uh,
the chat. Good. If you saw it, yeah, I can't wait to go. I can't wait to go see it. I didn't realize it was already out, so I gotta spend some time in the theater to see that.
Yeah,
Also
yeah.
pizzas coming from me.
What's
So,
up, Dabs?
yo, Dabs.
My dude.
Um, pizza's coming from me. I haven't seen. I admitted, I guess, on stream that I hadn't seen Revenge of the Sith
Oh, I was
because I
wondering why you
didn't
said that.
because I didn't give a shit, and we were talking about it,
Oh,
and
yeah.
we were texting the other day, and he's like,
Oh God.
"What the fuck are you doing?" So I have to catch up on some Star Wars stuff from
That's
20 years
fine.
ago.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, not for the fucking also, I like how pizzas lumps me in like I haven't seen every Star Wars movie ever. Fuck off, number one. I
Yeah.
got in trouble for going to see it was one of the prequels, unfortunately, but I went to a midnight screening with my brother
Mhm.
when I had school the next day, and I had no idea like how obvious I was as a kid. Listen,
Uh-huh.
if you ever thought that you pulled one over on your parents, you didn't, because because for like at starting like 8 p.m. the night before, because they told me I couldn't go. So
Yeah.
like at 8 p.m. I started being like, I don't feel good. I think I'm gonna go to bed early. My parents were like, what? They can never get him to go to bed. My dad was, but listen, my
That's
mom
amazing.
figured it out real fast, and I was secretly grounded.
All right. So thanks to everybody in the chat here. I think our guest is here. Our special
He's here.
guest,
Yes, he's in our waiting room.
Silver Thunder, the man, the bush drinking man himself. I love
Yes.
this guy. He's a new friend of ours. We're excited to have him on. So we're gonna finally start talking Batman movies here.
Yes, we are.
So yeah, let's bring him in. We're back, and we have our first guest ever on our stream here. It's our man Silver Thunder,
Silver Thunder,
the legend himself.
Howdy.
How you doing, man?
Never better. Excited to be on here. I appreciate you guys taking the risk of having somebody like me on here. So thank you.
Listen,
We're a
we're
risky
excited to
bunch.
have you.
Yeah,
we
exactly.
are a risky bunch.
for bad. It's not good. It's not a good quality for us.
I'm very excited to be here. So thank you.
Yeah,
How's chat tonight? It looks quite lively.
Chat's
Chat's
popping
popping.
off today, man.
Let's go.
Yeah, lots of awesome people here tonight. So I'm ready for this. We're talking Batman movies.
Yeah.
Lots of Batman movies. So many.
You don't say.
Batman movies.
You don't say. And listen, I love Batman. I have since I was a small child, and as luck would have it, I watched Batman last night.
Oh, the newest
all
one?
right.
The newest one.
Right on.
Fantastic.
Perfect timing, might I
My-
add.
Let's just
Perfect
dive right
timing.
into that one then, because that's my favorite one so far. What'd you think of it?
Wow. What a ride. What a thrilling attempt. Successful attempt, I might add.
Awesome.
What a thrilling, successful attempt at capturing the essence of the character,
Mhm.
but making it so believable and so almost like it happens, almost like it's happening today. And I will tell you, and I know we're going to get into a lot of the other films, but
Yeah.
what I loved the most about Heath Ledger's portrayal of the Joker, to get to a different Batman film right out of the gate, because that's shiny objects, right? ADHD. Let me hear you.
You're in the perfect stream for this.
Exactly. Heath Ledger did such a great job of bringing the Joker to life in a realistic way, far from the cartoony Mark Hamill type Joker,
Yeah,
right?
totally.
Which we loved, the animated Joker we loved, and Mark Hamill did a fantastic job with that. But never did I think that I would watch a Batman movie and think, this one might be more realistic. And this one to me was just tremendous. They did such a great job. They almost and they did a really good job of blurring the lines between fictional Gotham and real life New York City,
Yes.
Yeah.
to the likes of which no other film in the Batman, saga, if you will, has ever done before. Phenomenal to me. Loved it. Thank you so much for encouraging me to watch it, to get it under my belt.
Yeah.
It was a thrilling ride from the beginning to end. And I will say, I sat down and I told my wife, I said, why don't you watch this with me? She said, how long is it? I said, it's a movie, feature film.
It's
Perfect.
fucking long, dog.
She
Perfect.
said, how long? I said, it's 177 minutes. And then after about 10 minutes of quick math with Mrs. Thunder, she said, well, damn, that's 3 hours. So I said, just math. And I'll give her credit. She made it until the final minute, and she
Amazing.
has some thoughts, but
Uh-oh.
she made it. She made
Hey,
it.
making it is half the battle. I do the same thing when I take people to movies, or I take Dave to movies and stuff too. When he was living in Los Angeles, I'd always give
Yes.
like a minute breakdown, because people like, oh, it's 120 minutes, it's 370 minutes, it's no problem. Because when you break it into hours, you're like, this is a 4.5 hour movie. It hits different. I really enjoyed the new one. I know people didn't like it.
Yeah,
Some people didn't like
yeah.
it.
Mhm.
I thought it was. I mean, we did a stream about this movie, a while ago. But it hit different for me. I love the
Yes.
Nolan Batmans, and I like a lot of the other Batmans too. Full disclosure, I haven't seen any of the Ben Affleck Batman movies.
Well, okay, but here's the thing about the
I
Ben
haven't
Affleck
either.
movies.
I haven't
Listen,
either.
and I've seen both, but the thing is, they're not Batman movies. They're just movies that have Batman in them.
That's
So-
because it's Batman versus Superman, and then Justice
League, yeah. It's like
Okay.
it counts, but it doesn't really count because you don't really get to explore the character much. And I mean, I
Yeah.
see a bunch of people in the chat popping off about how the earlier Batman movies were the best ones, and we'll get into those. But for the second week in a row, we got Twatty in here with like the uttermost wrong opinion. He said he walked out of Top Gun.
I'm
and
glad
he said
they're
he almost walked out of Batman. Listen, we
just
love
stirring
you.
the pot. You're a
We
pot
love
stirrer,
you.
and I appreciate you being here. I do. I love this.
Yes, absolutely. Keep stirring the pot.
Keep
You're
talking
wrong,
shit to
but
Dave, please.
Yes, please. No. Wait a minute. No. Too much.
Hey, we got a follow. Crazy
thank
Wes,
you.
88. Thank you so much.
We appreciate you.
Yeah, welcome. And and enjoy us being wrong about everything.
Yeah, it's
So-
always wrong. Twatty, we love you.
So I do love the new vision for this movie. Lots of people didn't like Robert Pattinson, like, oh, it's emo Batman. But I liked his take, because he's kind of a young, like, they present him as like newly coming into like his Batman persona. And I thought that was very interesting, as opposed to like an old ass jaded Batman. I thought it was cool.
And hey,
I don't
listen,
know, I think he
Ted in the
handled it.
chat. Ted in the chat right here saying the intro sequence with Nirvana playing said it was the highlight of the new Batman. Listen,
But yes,
so good,
chills.
so good.
Very, very well placed music selection. I will give them that for sure.
Yeah.
100%. And my thing about and Thunder, you could probably chime in with me on this one. The fact that because you touched on it, the fact that the new Batman felt like like it was just a detective movie that, like, in real life, this dude just happens to dress like a fucking bat.
He's got a flair for the dramatic. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Costume choice, you know,
Yeah.
it works. It works for
Yeah.
whatever he's going for. That's fine.
So with the new Batman, I didn't know what to expect coming in. You know, obviously, listen, Robert Pattinson, phenomenal actor in every sense of the word.
Yeah.
But it's a little hard to get past the whole Edward Cullen Cedric Diggory phase of his life.
Yeah.
I see him on screen.
Yeah.
You know, my wife even made the comment. She said, "Well, he's perfect as Batman. He's already a vampire. I mean, why would he not be Batman?" And you know, I think she was only halfway serious, but it was. I didn't know what to expect because I've not seen Robert Pattinson in a lot of stuff that I've enjoyed because of his portrayal. There's been a lot of great movies that are great on their own, whether you know he was correctly cast or not. But we can all agree he's a great actor.
Yeah.
He played this role in such a way that I think it was. I think there are a lot of areas, and we'll dive more deep into this here in a little bit. There are a lot of areas in which the Nolan films will never be beat when it comes to Batman.
I can agree with
100%.
that.
But this is one place in which Robert Pattinson came out swinging out of the gate, in that I don't think he'll ever be beat. It was the most realistic portrayal of a Bruce Wayne character that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
You know, the money's there, fine. He's not this happy-go-lucky guy. He's a hermit. The entire cinescape of the movie is it's dark. It's raining in 90% of the scenes. You know, which leads kind of into the finale. It makes sense, but the way that he portrayed this guy who lost his parents as a young kid and spends the rest of his life trying to understand what that means for him, what that means about him as a person, what does he do with what his parents tried to stand for. Me, this grungy, almost post-emo type, you know, it's not a phase, mom type Bruce Wayne to me is the most realistic, given the circumstances. Given the circumstances. I mean, you think about this, you know, as much as I love The Mask of the Phantasm, who's seen it? Let me hear you. An animated movie from 1994, which was a feature length. Did I just blow your mind by referencing Mask of the Phantasm?
I know it, but I haven't seen it. I've had this movie referenced a lot to me. And really quick, I want to thank Frontman Finn for the follow.
Hey,
and joining
thank
the chat.
you.
What's up?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Remind me after stream to share Frontman Finn's music with you on Spotify. You'll enjoy it.
Yes, please.
Oh,
all the
shit,
tunes.
okay,
yes.
All the tunes.
But so Mask of the Phantasm is kind of the feature-length film that tied into the animated series of the early 90s. Same studios, same writers, same animators, same voice actors. And it's a feature-length film. So it's about, I don't know, 120 minutes long or so. No, it's not that long, maybe an hour and 40. And it's, I don't know, it just portrays Bruce Wayne as like this anguished, you know, guy who's just looking for love and meaning in life. And like, that's fine. That's fine. But let's be honest, you know, you're a kid, you watch your parents get killed. You don't need or want for anything. So your life doesn't become about making ends meet. You know, looking for companionship. It's okay. My parents are taken from me. How do I cope with this?
You have to give yourself a direction.
Yeah.
Essentially.
And I think Robert Pattinson portrayed very, very well that dynamic of the fact that if we're talking about Batman versus Bruce Wayne as a real life dichotomy here, there really is not a fine line. There's, you know, like some of the movies, like there's that one thing where I'll give Christian Bale great credit is scene to scene switching Batman, Bruce Wayne, Batman, Bruce Wayne. They're like, they're two different characters. This is not, it is one character. It's just, is he wearing a mask or not? And the thing that I really enjoyed about this is how they brought in a lot of familiar characters from the universe, but in a realistic way. For example,
oh my God, yes.
For example, the Penguin, we're not talking Danny DeVito's cigar smoking out of the little Cruella. It's basically a midget Cruella DeVille. Sorry, a little person Cruella DeVille. This version, which by the way, Colin Farrell, unreal in this role.
Hey,
unbelievable.
I didn't know it was him. I said this on our other stream. Didn't know it was him. Until the credits rolled, and I'm like, who the fuck was Colin Farrell? Where was he in this movie? and apparently I was last to know this.
Hilarious.
And I think Ted in the chat might appreciate this with his Mindhunter reference earlier. This movie to me felt like Batman if David Fincher gave a go at directing it. It felt very very specific, very dark, but also like a huge world. I don't know. I really enjoyed the take on it, and I
Mhm.
understand why people, were like, oh, it's too moody or too whatever. I really enjoyed that turn with this, and the characters they brought in, as you were kind of mentioning, which we're probably getting to, is like I really enjoyed the Riddler.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, and Ted in the chat saying that Paul Dano was a weak sauce.
I thought he was perfectly unhinged. For
I
this.
loved him. I
He was
thought he was
creepy.
fantastic. He was
Very
very,
creepy.
creepy. Mhm.
Yeah. So, and it's in this, for better or worse, in today's current climate,
Mhm.
this iteration of the Riddler is entirely believable. Jim Carrey is the Riddler, hilarious, entertaining, great. It's
Totally.
a character. It's a
Right.
fantasy movie. This is like chills down your spine. Are we watching
Yes.
Batman, or are we watching, an
Zodiac.
episode of and so I've had a lifelong fascination with the Zodiac Killer, to the point
Yeah.
where I've watched the Criminal Minds episode that kind of focuses in on the Zodiac
seen
and
it
all
too, yeah.
that. I've watched it multiple times, and I will tell you that the Zodiac, I think, is one of the most, if not the most, fascinating crime story in our modern history. And this was up there with that. The obviously the crossovers with the ciphers, and
Sure. Yeah.
he says this is the Riddler speaking. I mean, there's obvious references to the Zodiac, but this is very different. The Zodiac was just somebody that just killed people and got a rush out of it. This is a guy who was unhinged and in his mind believed he was doing good.
Right.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what's creepy to me, is that if you look back, like, that's to me what makes a good villain, is that they're doing what they want to advance their agenda, but we're not talking Gru, we're going to steal the moon. We're talking villains who genuinely, in their deepest inner being, believe that society is benefiting from what they're doing, despite
Right.
being aware enough, and dare I say woke enough, to understand that on the surface they're a bad guy, right?
That's what's compelling. That's
The-
absolutely what's compelling. That's what's compelling
100%
about any
agree.
villain, is that like
Mhm.
you can understand. We talked about this last week with Thor: Love and Thunder, featuring Christian Bale. That his villain, yes, he was the villain, the bad guy, but you understand why he was doing what he was doing.
Right,
He
100%.
believed what he was doing was the right thing to do, and so being able to bring in that like dichotomy from the old Batmans of just villains for their mustache twirling villains to somebody who like to somebody who we can not necessarily relate to but understand a little bit more. They flesh him out so much, and I think he's really weird and he's
He's
really
very
creepy.
weird. Yeah.
And I really appreciate that portrayal. And
me-
the character design was great too.
For me, I think it's what makes a really good villain. Not necessarily good villain, but I don't know. The word is escaping me, but a palatable villain is that their goal, if you tweak it a little bit, is like, oh, I kind of agree with that.
Well, exactly. It's like right on the precipice of like, I kind of agree with him to a degree, just not the extremity to which they're taking it.
Right.
And I think
Right.
that's great. I mean, this movie, I went into it, I saw it in theaters, again, I'm not a huge like superhero fan in general. I'm really not. A lot of these movies don't really speak to me, but I've always had a penchant for Batman since I was a kid, and I went and saw this. I think when I saw Dune, I saw the trailer for this, and I was like,
Okay.
I saw Matt Reeves is directing, and they kind of let him do whatever he wanted,
Which was fucking smart.
was the correct move. And he
Yes.
made his movie, and people are like, oh god, it's long, and Rob Pattinson's in it, like this thing's gonna suck. And I went and saw it, and I was blown away.
Also, I want to kind of talk more about the Christopher Nolan series now, but I want to also give as much time to Batfleck as he had pretty much on screen to our conversation here. The one and only thing I liked, that's a lie. There's two things I liked about Batfleck.
Okay, hit me.
The fact that his fight scenes were brutal, like just brutal. And the fact that he's the only Batman on screen that's been smart enough to use a fucking voice modulator instead of just going, "Where is he?"
I like the gruff take.
Where is he? But like,
think that's
okay, it's cool.
hilarious.
Listen, it's cool. It's funny, but like,
I don't think it's cool. I think it's hilarious.
It's
I just want to be clear.
he's a bajillionaire and he never thinks to put a fucking voice modulator. And instead is just like, nah, I'll just talk different.
These are fair points. These are fair points. Listen,
It's
I'll say
fair
this as someone who has never seen the Batfleck movies,
Yeah.
on purpose. Um, my biggest thing is that I've never been super invested in the universal superhero movies, you know. So like I've seen most of the, you know, the Marvel MCU movies. I've
Yes,
seen some
too.
of the DCs. Wonder Woman was actually, the Wonder Woman films are phenomenal. I
Yeah,
would
yeah,
recommend them
I
to
agree.
everyone.
Mhm.
But I have always wondered why Bruce Wayne, having all the resources available to
Mhm.
him that he doesn't do some of the basic things, like for example, like you mentioned, the voice modulator.
Right.
You know, at least in this one, the car looked somewhat like a car and
Right.
not like something that NASA scrapped because they realized it was a stupid idea.
Like a shitty concept car.
Yeah. I mean, I've, you know, and I get it with like the Tim Burton films are great, but they're Tim Burton films
Sure.
before they're Batman films. At the end of the day, it's a Tim Burton film that happens to be Batman. These are movies about Batman as a character, and so I've appreciated the divergence towards a more realistic approach and a less cartoonish approach, despite the fact that it's rooted in comics and animated series, which I understand.
Yeah.
And I think this film, above all other superhero movies that I've seen, meaning the most recent one with Rob Pattinson,
Mhm.
did the best job of blending the line between superhero story and real life. You know, and I think you see things like the popularity of the show The Boys, where it like tries to take an approach of if the Avengers lived in our world, what would happen? Things like marketing and capitalism and actual blood and
Yeah.
oops, people are actually dying because of the things that you're doing while you're saving the world. So things like that, you know, and also, by the way, superheroes aren't always such a great people, you know, they're
Yeah.
egotistical maniacs. So I think the current concept of bringing the realism to the superhero stories, I think is good because I think it keeps people like us engaged. It's less about fun kid movies that you take your family to see,
Yes.
Yeah.
you know, and more about these are actual on their own standing, you know, excellent films and compelling scripts, compelling characters, compelling villains. And I think when you look at a guy like the Riddler and how they made it less about the, you know, the bowler hat, the cane, and the little mask type thing, and more
Right.
about, oh shit, this guy's like a borderline QAnon terrorist.
Yeah. Straight up.
There's certain things that just hit you harder. And then what particularly, and guys, by the way, this is a spoiler heavy stream, so
Oh,
sorry.
absolutely.
Plug your ears.
What particularly hit me the hardest, I think, about the Riddler is the fact that towards the end of the film, we see that he's been kind of on the dark web communicating with, you know, followers. And he talked about
Yeah.
how he's got over 500 followers. And then it was a video and him saying, hey, be here, do this. I need your guys' help. And a bunch of people showed up,
Show up,
and then
right.
all of
Yeah.
a sudden became part of his game just
Yeah.
because they were inspired by what this madman was saying. It's like,
Mhm.
where is the line between realism and film? Because obviously we haven't had a you know, a horde of 100 masked people shoot up Madison Square Garden recently,
Right.
but we've certainly had a lot of evil portray its ugly head in the world in the last couple of years in particular.
Yeah.
In ways that very reminisce some of the things that a guy like the Riddler, you know, translate him into a real world type
Mhm.
scenario, a guy like that would bring out of people. And that's almost terrifying in a way that like they
Yeah.
could portray it on film in a realistic way that makes a film compelling, but also is like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know?
And
shit.
that's so two things. That's what I first off, that's what I think makes the character of Batman the most compelling in a character way is because he doesn't have any superpowers. He is
Yes.
innately
Exactly.
a man. He's a human, and we can all relate to a human story. In the chat, Ted saying today is the marks the 10-year anniversary of the shooting during the Batman screening in Aurora, Colorado, which is terrible. This
Horrible.
is also because this is also the 10-year anniversary of the release of The Dark Knight Rises.
Mhm.
Oh,
as
shit,
well,
yeah.
which I didn't realize until earlier today.
Yeah.
But
Brianna Elliott, thank you for the follow. Thanks for being in the chat.
hey, yes, welcome to our not depressing chat.
Anyway, back to our
Um,
comedy stream.
Yeah, listen, but no, that is what makes Batman a really compelling character, is because he is human. That's why I also think, like, when he teams up with like other actual superheroes, it doesn't really work because they're two very different kinds of worlds that you kind of have to shove together. And like, what the fuck is Batman
Which,
gonna do, really?
like, listen, the fact that he's that the Batman is actually, it's been said that it's standalone. It has nothing to do with the DCEU or whatever.
Yeah.
Perfect. But
Yeah.
speaking of well, on the Riddler,
Mhm.
and Silver Thunder brought it up perfectly. It's blurring the lines so much with what would be a real life villain like that.
Yeah.
Bunch of hot takes here. I love the villains in the Nolan series. I love Heath Ledger, best
Mhm.
Joker in my opinion ever.
Agreed.
Tied very closely with Joaquin Phoenix, I think. And then I thought Tom Hardy as Bane
Mhm.
was just as good, if not better, than Heath Ledger, because all he had was his eyes. But
The man's an eye actor.
he's a phenomenal actor. But that all being said,
Yeah.
I think Paul Dano's Riddler was a more terrifying villain than either of the other two.
I agree with that because again, speaking to Silver Thunder's point here, he's a very human antagonist
Mm-hmm.
with and they did this thing, I think, very tastefully, because sometimes when movies are like, they incorporate like the internet, it comes off
Right.
as
Yeah.
weird and cheesy and kind of embarrassing. And I think they did it in a way that still retained its creepiness. Like, I find it weird. It's like, oh, he's on the internet. That's really creepy, right? Like, he's on cool. But I think they did it in a way that actually was pretty creepy. And you can see like the followers, people following each other and like hyping each other up. And then you kind of become a part of this community. And you never know where that can lead.
Right. And I want to clarify something here, because Pizza's in the chat saying Heath Ledger is on his own league. I 100% agree with you. Okay. And I don't want to speak for anybody, but
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Silver Thunder would feel the same way. Heath Ledger's performance was
Mhm.
better than any Batman villain. But
Yeah.
I would say Paul Dano's Riddler was the best villain out of all of them, out of at least the ones that we've been talking about so far.
If I could interject,
Absolutely.
Of course.
if nothing else, to disagree with you.
Oh, for sure.
So here's my take on it. I think Paul Dano's Riddler was probably the most realistic villain that we've
Yeah.
seen in a Batman movie.
Agreed.
He did an excellent job. Somebody said earlier in the chat that that there are a lot of certifiable creeps out there that they could have picked. But like, if we think about it, when we think of like creepy actors, we're talking like, Willem Dafoe, or even like, someone there are a lot of deranged people that I would say that Joaquin Phoenix was perfect as the Joker, because
Yes.
he's very good at being like that deranged, like, what the hell is this guy going to do next?
Totally.
Type.
Totally.
I think this is going to be a crazy hot take, but I think in a lot of the ways that made him very suited to play a guy like the Joker also made him very suited to play a guy like Johnny Cash, because Johnny Cash was kind of, for most of his life, a very like on the edge, almost unhinged type guy,
Right.
and I think obviously their intents and their actions were probably very different. Not to compare them as Johnny Cash was a real person, not a character, but the point stands.
Right.
Anthony Hopkins, for example, Ted says in the chat, Anthony
Mhm.
Hopkins, ultimate creepy villain.
Absolutely.
Ultimate creepy villain.
Where you lose me with putting a guy like Anthony Hopkins as this Riddler is you get so lost in the creepiness that you forget that this guy's actually a deranged maniacal genius
Right.
Yeah.
who does
Right.
something that a lot of people with every intent, with having the same intents and all of the efforts and even the resources, could not have pulled this off. This is a man who was at his core a certified evil genius in every sense of the word, and that the
Yeah.
things he pulled off and the things that he did in such a way where he knew not only his victim but he knew Batman. He knew how Batman would respond. He was 3 steps ahead every step of the way, even once he was in Arkham. That to me is crazy. Yes. And I think that is a good testament to Paul Dano playing this character in the way that he did. However, the reason that I don't put him quite in Heath Ledger's league is because I think I can see, and I haven't seen a lot of Paul's other work, but I know he's a good actor. He can play a lot of different roles,
totally.
Anybody who's familiar with his work would attest to that. I don't have trouble separating Paul Dano from the Riddler. I have a lot of trouble separating Heath Ledger from the Joker in the way that he portrayed that film. And there's been a lot of people talk about how him being so involved and getting so attached to that character ultimately contributed to his mental health decline and ultimately, us losing him at a young age. And I don't know if that's true. I'll never know if it's true. I don't think any of us will actually
I don't think any
ever know the true story behind that. But it's not a far reach because I had trouble understanding, is this Heath Ledger or is this the Joker? And even like a lot of the reports from like on set, he was so in character that like he was just the Joker from the time they opened to the time they wrapped, and that was it. And he was the Joker. He would set up all night in his bed talking to himself to the point where he didn't sleep, not by choice. It just was, he was so in this character, and I almost think and I think knowing now what we know about that character, it almost adds to that because we see so tragically how he became this person on screen. And I just don't think, almost for good reason, I don't know that we ever should see someone get so involved in such a maniacal character that it ultimately affects their well-being as an actor and as a human, because it's his story, following the production wrapping of that film is just so tragic. There were no high points following that. It wasn't like he had a good couple years, made a couple other films, and then here's this and here's that. Like, there was that film, and then we just slowly lost him. And that's like, I wonder, almost, painstakingly, like, if he never plays that role, does he have the mental health struggles that he does? Does he find himself in a position where something like what happened happens? And I don't know. I will never know the answer to that.
That's a fair question.
I will say this, because when you said like, well, we'll never know if that's exactly what did it. No, absolutely, you're right. We'll never for sure know. But in my opinion, that's exactly what happened, because I didn't act for very long, but I was an actor for a little bit. And my cousin's an actor, and I've known plenty of actors. The best ones, you have to really get in tune with how that character thinks. You have to start thinking how that character thinks. And that's why he got so involved, because he understood that the Joker especially has to be, you have to commit 100%, 110% to the Joker for it to be a good Joker. And he crushed it. And I think it was hard for him to come back out of that, because he hit such a demented low, because he had to commit to the character. So
it's interesting too, because I mean, Ted here in the chat, imagine if Philip Seymour Hoffman was allowed to be the Riddler. Philip Seymour Hoffman has played a bunch of like kind of unhinged and troubled characters, but also Paul Dano has played a lot of unhinged and troubled characters. One of my favorite films of all time is There Will Be Blood, the Paul Thomas Anderson film. And Paul Dano plays like this unhinged, like religiously, like almost religious zealot in like the West and the oil times and stuff. And that to like, I mean, even the stuff with Little Miss Sunshine, and he played what's his name from the Beach Boys. He plays a lot of characters who have mental issues and stuff like that. So I find it interesting, an actor like that who can play a bunch of these roles that I feel like would require a lot from you emotionally, and he does it consistently. I feel like that's been his whole career, is kind of a character actor, is playing these kind of troubled characters. And with Heath Ledger, I can't attest to this. I don't know like the full Heath Ledger filmography of what other kind of troubled characters he's played, and I guess his process. Obviously, they're different. They're different actors, and stuff, but I'd be interested to know how those processes differ from actor to actor.
Listen, I also I want to say that speaking on all these other like, oh, this person would have been a good Riddler, or
Dennis Wilson. Sorry, thank you.
Shit, I lost my train of thought. Thanks,
Sorry,
buddy.
I was just running through the chat.
No, okay, I remember. So like like having a creepier person play the Riddler. I think what's great about Paul Dano being him is that anybody creepy by nature would have been too on the nose.
I
And
agree.
there's nothing about the new Batman that's too on the nose. It's all like the most believable you can get for this character and the superhero and villain or whatever. And I think having someone who by nature doesn't look creepy at all be creepy is like that's just
He's insidiously creepy, which I
Yes.
think is the best kind of creepy.
agreed.
You don't know he's creepy until it's way too late.
Right.
Yeah. I also, if I could interject, I think a
Yeah.
big thing that adds to Paul Dano's character is that he's not playing it on the nose of creepy Riddler. He's playing it on the nose of creepy terrorist guy that
Yes.
we know exists in this in our world. We know there are people like him out there because we've seen it over the last couple decades, and from all walks of life, from all corners of the globe, we know that there are people out there who have the desire to do things like what he does and what he accomplishes in the movie. Sorry, I'm not gonna say it out loud, but
Yeah.
that just made me laugh.
Yeah, it's true.
That made me laugh. But in all fairness, I mean, if we're talking about creepy people, right? So like, think of like when I think of like creepy superhero villain, I think of like Willem Dafoe as the Green Goblin, and like that's a character that's inherently campy by nature. It's written that way in the comics. It's written that way in all of the movies, and it's like, could you imagine be like, this is the Riddler speaking? It's like you can't. It doesn't work, and
Agreed.
it's the thing that I really enjoyed about Paul Dano's portrayal of the Riddler is it was never about him. It was about what he was saying and what he was
100%.
doing, to the point where like by and large, you look at a guy that's masked up and then has his stupid glasses on the outside. And I wear glasses, and my wife made the comment. She's like, "Oh, those look like your glasses." Because when my contacts aren't in, I have big, thick, because I'm blind, clear framed, like stupid, nerdy glasses. And she goes, "Well, he's got the same glasses as you. That's weird." That is weird. But like you look at a guy like him, and he's not designed from a costume stature. He wasn't cast to be intimidating. He wasn't costumed to be intimidating. Nothing about him physically is intimidating. It's about what he's doing, what he's saying, and that we know as viewers he's 3 steps ahead, right? But them throwing things out there the entire film that are telling viewers, even before Batman gets it, telling viewers the story. I didn't realize until the police officer that was guarding towards the end, when the police officer's like, "Oh yeah, that's a carpet stretcher tool," or whatever the hell they call that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I didn't realize that's what it was. When he said that, I was like, "Oh, that's exactly what that is."
Yeah.
But like, they show it clearly on screen. He beats the hell out of the mayor in the opening sequence. They show the murder weapon. You see it. It's not ambiguous. It is a carpet stretching tool. Never was part of my mindset, because it was always about what he's doing. It's not about him being intimidating. And the thing that I really loved about Dano is that I'm branching here and speculating, and I have no insider knowledge of this, but it's very obvious in the final sequence of Dano on screen that he is next to the Joker in Arkham.
Yes.
Very obvious. They don't try to hide it. So many things that anybody that's seen any Batman film would get.
Yeah.
And what they've teased is that you thought that was something. Just wait. That's what I'm excited for, is where they go with this iteration of the Batman character in the Batman series. Because I will tell you this, I think Barry, I'm gonna mispronounce his last name. The actor's name is Barry Cowan. He's Irish. So it's Keown. I don't know. He's Irish. It's spelled the way it's spelled is like different. But this is a young actor who doesn't have decades of film experience under his belt. He's not an award-winning actor at this point, but he just might be, because in the 10 seconds he was on screen, we've watched for 3 hours. We've watched this Riddler guy just like rip my brain out of the back of my skull and just shoot it to the moon. And then they give me 10 seconds of this guy as the Joker, and I just sat there and was like, "Oh my God, what is this guy?" And you know from the beginning, the beginning exactly what it was. And I don't know.
I have my own hot take about this. Go on. Sorry.
I was just to wrap up what I was saying. I am utterly impressed that as many iterations of the Batman story and the same characters that we're familiar with, how every single one, we're talking Selena Kyle, we're talking, the Penguin, we're talking Carmine Falcone. Yeah. All of these characters are familiar to people, fans of the Batman movie, and they cast every single one outside of Falcone, who's kind of that trope of the Don Vito type guy, but a little dirtier, maybe Michael later in the series. Outside of Falcone, everybody is cast in an almost unexpected way. Yeah. And every single actor hit an absolute home run. And then we got 10 seconds. We got 10 seconds of the Joker. And it was like, well, they did a decent job with those. They nailed this guy. Like it was creepy. I was floored personally.
Okay. I hope, this is my hope. I hope they just fucking don't with the Joker. If there's a sequel, I hope they don't. I'm kind of sick of it. So as Pizza's in the chat says, there is a deleted scene of the Joker from this movie. I don't know if you watch it. I hope they don't. Just because, not that he didn't do a good job, because I think he's a great actor. He's great in Dunkirk, but specifically, if you've ever seen The Killing of a Sacred Deer, Hawk Rules in the chat knows what I'm talking about. Dave, you know what I'm talking about. It's a Yorgos Lanthimos film.
Oh, yeah.
That I'm definitely going to make you watch. Was filmed in Cincinnati anyway.
Great.
He's great in it. He's really, really good in it. And I just think the Joker is overplayed at this point. I think we've gotten so much of it. I want to see, I like how they brought in the Riddler, because we haven't seen the Riddler for 20 years. And I think that's great. And I'm sick of the Joker. We get so much of it. We already have a sequel for the Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie coming out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Good point.
I'm over it. Give us something new.
I get what you're saying. And then I'm going to let Dave talk because I keep cutting him off. I get what you're saying, and I don't disagree with you. But here's where I will disagree with what you're saying.
Okay.
The way that they're setting up for this Joker is what, in my opinion, the Joker should be. As great as the Joaquin Phoenix movie is, and it is a great movie.
Yeah.
That's not the same, in my opinion. It's not the same character. If you hear what I'm saying, that's more of a trying to bring the cartoony kind of Joker to life on the big screen in a way that's like kind of a movie for adults who watched the cartoon Joker as a kid. Yeah. This is, but in the same light that they took no notes from previous iterations of the Penguin. Because we've never seen the Penguin as not the guy. He's like, he's just a mobster in this movie.
Right.
We've never seen him as not the guy. Selena Kyle was a little bit more on the nose, but it's certainly a different backstory than what we're used to with her, which I enjoyed and I thought was very compelling to the way that the plot flowed. But this is, I think, the way that they're moving with the Joker in this movie is, I think, what the Joker should be as a character, and that it's not almost to the point where, like, I really wish that, like, Heath Ledger's Joker didn't have like green hair and a purple suit. I wish it was almost like a regular guy that like smeared makeup on his face and then went and blew up a bank. Right. And I almost feel like that's what we're going to get with this Joker. There's not going to be purple suits. There's not going to be the gun that, pops out the flag and says bang. Like, we're not going to get that shit. We're going to get the guy that's the unhinged, I will burn, like as Michael Caine says, some men just want to watch the world burn. That's the Joker. Yeah. That's the Joker. That's where he's a compelling character. And I think if we get that, I'm good with more Joker.
That's a fair take. Go on, Dave.
I will say I agree with that take. I would be okay if that's the direction they took with him, but I do also agree with Blake that they should probably, there's a lot of Batman villains. Let's focus on some other ones like they did on this one. But the one thing that I will say, as a kind of a disagreement with your take on this, Silver Thunder, is that I saw the deleted scene because we don't really see the Joker's face in the 10 seconds on screen, right?
Mhm.
It's just kind of silhouetted. You kind of see that
Right.
he's kind of fucked up a little bit, but you know who it is. Like you said, you know who it is. But then seeing the deleted scene, his face does not look good. It
Mm-mm.
does not look good in comparison to the rest of the characters in this movie. The Batman is believable. His suit is believable. Selena Kyle, all of them seem like real world versions of these people. And then you see the deleted scene. If you haven't, Chad, if you
not.
haven't seen the scene,
I've not.
I know Thunder, you haven't seen it, but yeah, at some point, check it out because his face is like royally fucked up and it's grotesque. It's very cartoony in the sense that it's like it's over the top. And yes, the Joker is over the top, but like you said, he needs to be a regular person who just happens to smear shit on his face, just
Right.
like pretty much the rest of the cast of this movie, in my opinion.
Yeah,
That's-
no,
that's
I
fair.
feel it. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I just feel like it's been shoved down our throats since, you know, the last 10 years or so. We're just getting so many Joker iterations, and I get it. Give me something new. And I know
Right.
they're different
Well-
characters. They're
Yeah.
played differently and all this
Yeah.
stuff. It just feels like another, like I feel like they could go somewhere interesting with somebody else. Give me a weird ass Poison Ivy.
Yeah, exactly.
Give me Poison Ivy.
Exactly.
It's
Right.
it's weird. I want to see the gritty version of Poison Ivy, like
So-
an eco terrorist.
I agree with you. I mean, I think everything you're saying is certainly on point. I think as someone who has been a fan of Batman since I've been old enough to pronounce Batman,
Right.
every iteration of it, I think the issue is that where Batman has kind of given some creative limits for writers and the fact that he doesn't have superpowers, they have compensated with villains that do.
Yeah.
And so the problem is a lot of the classic villains, Mr. Freeze, Poison Ivy, the original version of Bane was like a superhuman. So they did a good job with that. One of my favorites from the animated series back in the day was a villain by the name of Clayface, who was just this giant. It was almost like what's his name? The sand guy from
Sandman.
Spider-Man 2, Sandman. Yeah, it was almost like him, but like mud instead of sand. Like there's just so many cool villains that just don't translate to a realism interpretation of the world. And that's where I think if you're making a movie with Batman where you try to tie into the fact that there's a more realistic tie and the fact that he doesn't have superpowers, things of that nature.
Yeah.
That's where I think they're going to struggle. They did a good job bringing the Riddler across that line into realism. I'm not sure how you write a character like Mr. Freeze or Poison Ivy. I think I could maybe see, and just give me a fire ass hot redheaded Scarlett Johansson as a demented Poison Ivy, and I'm in. I'll see it 5 times in the theaters. But so like I think there are a lot of ways you could write some of the villains, but I think with these types of series, you've got to pick real or not. And with Batman, when you pick real, you have to write a lot of the classic villains off. And that's unfortunate because I think there are a lot of really cool characters in the Batman universe, just like there are a lot of really cool villains in the Marvel universe. I mean, Thanos is an amazing villain, one of the top all time. But the one counter I would say to the overplay of the Joker is what you have to consider is that when people think of Batman, some people will talk like if I say name 5 Batman villains, right? Every single person, no matter their level of fandom, is going to name the Joker, right? If I say
100%.
if I say
100%.
name 5 villains in the Star Wars universe, everyone says Darth Vader. There's a reason that Darth Vader is the character above all else that is in so many different iterations in the Star Wars universe. I mean, he's in Obi-Wan, he's in Rogue One, he's in obviously all of the original movies. It's just Star Wars is not Star Wars without Darth Vader. I'm not sure that the Batman story and the Batman character is truly Batman without some iteration of the Joker.
That's fair. I do want to say, by the
Pizza's-
way, really quick, Stubbs, welcome to the chat. Thanks for
Welcome
hanging
to
on
chat,
here.
Stubbs. Thank you.
Sorry, Dave. Go on.
Okay, sorry, I didn't know it was my turn. So, so I think Pizza makes a good point. Okay, when what they could do is they could have, if they move forward with the Joker in the movies, don't make him the main villain, but more of a chaos creator between Batman and his villains of the movie.
No, that's a very good point because yes, we've seen him as a main villain time and time again, and it gets pushed, and there's always the media blitz of, oh, is he gonna go method? I fucking hate that. Leave it out. Just keep him as a chaos creator, and if you have him pop in every now and then, whatever, just keep it going. Just
Right.
keep it going. If you want to introduce him in ways, sure, fine. But I say keep introducing interesting new characters. I think Poison Ivy would be fine. I don't know how Mr. Freeze would work.
I don't know. I don't know if you would.
I don't.
I
It's hilarious.
wish they would bring back Arnold Schwarzenegger as like
Me
an
too.
old Mr. Freeze.
Like
This
the
is my
old-ass-
gun. This is very cold. I will shoot you now. Like
the geriatric Mr.
Yeah.
Freeze. I'm
right,
fine with
like
that.
like in a wheelchair, Mr. Freeze. I like what you said there though about the Joker kind of being a chaotic element, and one reason why I still love Heath Ledger's version is in a way
Mhm.
he kind of was that in The Dark Knight
Yeah,
because
yeah,
the real
absolutely.
struggle for the majority of that movie was the lawful citizens and Batman against the mob and what they're trying to do.
Mhm.
And then the Joker came in and he wasn't on anyone's side. He
Right,
was
exactly.
all for himself. And so I think that's one reason why the Heath Ledger Joker is so compelling is because he's strictly like, he has no motive. He has no agenda. He doesn't want your money. He wants nothing other than to watch the world burn because he doesn't like you or you. He's like a bad Oprah. You get nothing. You get nothing. You get nothing. You get nothing. I just want you all to suffer. Like
That's
that's
hilarious.
in a way that doesn't explain anything. And Pizza said in the chat, Harvey Dent, Two-Face, one of my favorite villains. I think they did such a good job bringing Two-Face into the realism side of it. I don't
Yes,
think
they did.
Two-Face, and Aaron Eckhart, phenomenal character actor. He's amazing. I don't think anyone could ever even take a stab at Two-Face again and ever get it right after seeing him.
I agree.
Absolutely, I agree. I think what was great about the Dark Knight trilogy is that while everybody was a superhero and a super villain in terms of comparing it to the Batman from this year, they were all like portrayed in such a way that it was believable, even though the story as a whole is quite spectacular.
Sure.
I really like how like Harvey Dent turns into Two-Face because of the Joker just being the chaos creator there. And now that I'm actually sitting there talking about it, I love Dark Knight Rises because I love Tom Hardy. He's my favorite actor. He knocked Bane out of the park. But thinking about the two stories, I think the Dark Knight is a more compelling story than the Dark Knight Rises.
I agree.
Because you do have that that chaos with the Joker just literally stirring every pot he can stir just because he wants to. Whereas Bane and Talia, or whatever her fucking name is, they had a goal in mind and they were trying to achieve that goal.
Mhm.
They wanted to destroy Gotham because of whatever. Her father, Ra's al Ghul, was pissed off at Bruce Wayne for whatever.
Right.
She had a goal and she used Bane to get there. Whereas the Joker and Heath Ledger's Joker, especially, there's no goal.
No.
There's no goal at all. And SilverThunder, you said it perfectly. No goal. He has none. He's just there because he doesn't like everybody. He's like, I don't like you. I'm gonna fuck up your world, and also your villain or your enemy. I'm gonna fuck up your world too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use the restroom really quick, but I think when we get back, I wanna ask you guys what your favorite Batmans are.
Absolutely.
Do it. We'll do it.
Let's do it. Think about it. We'll think about it.
Think about it. So what do we do when Blake's gone? Do we talk shit about him?
Listen, normally I have to sit here and talk with Jordan, but now that you're here, it's now I can talk with you. And we can
Come on.
I would say we could talk shit about him, but the chat is overwhelmingly on his team. So
he pulls well with the 18 to 49s in chat. So we've got to be respectful, or else the marketing numbers of the podcast will drop tremendously.
Right.
And and the partners will not like that as much. But Yeah, I will say I am very thankful that you guys took the risk of having me on, and I know this is a little bit of a different thing for you guys, but I've enjoyed it already. I know we're gonna have a hell of a time the rest of the night. So thank you for having me on.
No, absolutely. Thanks for coming. We were so excited to have you on, and we knew that you were going to bring a whole new level to it and give us some nice thoughts that neither him or I even think about, because while our show is literally film versus film, and we actually agree way more than we thought we would. So it's nice to have, not to say that you're not agreeing with us, but God, Ted in the chat, don't egg them on. Good Lord.
Listen,
Don't talk about Scream.
I'll say this while Blake is gone so that we don't dive down the rabbit hole. Scream is
Perfect.
such a terrible franchise. It is so bad. It is so
Yes.
bad.
Dude,
Listen, it's so bad.
you have
It's
no
so
idea how
bad.
happy that makes me.
Don't do it, guys. I'll tell them.
Do not.
Jordan.
Jordan, shut up.
Oh, he's
Oh,
back.
here
He's
goes.
back.
Shh, shh, everybody quiet. Everybody quiet. Shh,
Quiet,
here he
quiet,
is.
quiet.
Oh, hey.
Oh shit!
what's
What did I
happening?
miss?
Pizza's telling me to leave. Pizza already tried to cancel me earlier. He's now trying to cancel me again.
Welcome to the club.
So all I want to say is, if we're talking about worst villains of all time, Ghostface is
Yeah!
definitely up there. Definitely up there.
Canceled.
I'm Love
Definitely up there.
Fuck this shit.
No.
All I'm saying,
I'm out.
all I'm saying, I know. So what you guys just witnessed is the podcast version of the rule of two of the Sith Lords, and that the apprentice has just killed the master, and so now it's me and Dave for the rest of your lives, and no more Blake, just Silver and Dave.
Oh, Lord.
No, listen, I know what you did last summer is a phenomenally more well-written horror series than Scream. I'm just saying.
I need
know
Blake,
it's
more
a hot
alcohol
take,
for
but-
this.
as soon as you put your right before you put your headphones on, Silver Thunder had a hot take. He said that I know what you did last summer was much better than Scream in terms of a series. Before we get Blake's response, thank you, Frosty Shots, for the follow. We appreciate it.
Thanks,
Hey,
Frosty Shots.
Frosty.
You're about to see me have a mental fucking breakdown live on air.
Listen. The chat is with Blake, but
Love
the
y'all.
people with
Love y'all.
microphones are not with Blake. So
As is the case mostly. Listen.
Well,
Listen. I don't have that much to say about it other than, are you fucking kidding me?
to be fair,
Oh.
I
to be
love
fair,
you. I hope you know I love you. Are you fucking kidding me?
to be fair, I know what you did last summer is a horrible film. It's
Yeah.
a horrible
Hilarious.
film.
it's very
It's-
bad.
It's not good, but it's really funny.
I know what you did last summer is like Scary Movie, but not trying to be Scary Movie. It's like
Unaware.
like Scary Movie is funny in a lot
Yep,
of ways.
yeah, yep.
I know what you did last summer is very laughable, but
Yeah.
I am as serious as a fart in church when I say, and I'll take it to the level of a fart in church that turns into more than a fart.
A shart in church.
A shart in church. That's a good.
Fuck.
That's a good pilot name. The Shart in Church.
I'm writing it.
Not a
Copyright.
series, not the series name, just the pilot name. The Shart in Church.
Oh, shit.
I'm looking forward to the episode of season 5 of Stranger Things entitled "The Shart in the Upside Down."
I don't want to know how that
Oh.
shart works in the upside down, but it sounds
Oh,
messy.
Lord.
Well, let's. I envision Vecna trying to sneak one out while the clock chimes, but he misses it by about 2 seconds, and it's like ding, but it's wet at the end, and then imagine the field day that the subtitles guy would have with that, like fart undulates moistly, on screen, like.
Subtitle guy's gonna be having the time of
The
his fucking
subtitle guy
life.
for Stranger Things is a legend, and we must protect him.
I
He
love
is a
that guy.
national treasure. I don't know who it is, and if I were him, I would never reveal my identity.
Me either.
However, the subtitles guy for Stranger Things is a national treasure, and I will say that.
He deserves
I-
a pat on the back.
I've never seen
At least.
anyone use the word moist in more context than that guy, and every single one topped the previous
Hilarious.
the previous time.
By the way, I'm
But-
pretty sure using the M word in there just pissed off half the chat because how many people
What?
hate
Moist. Moist.
moist. So many people hate that word. I think
So
Blake's
what's-
one of them. Look at his face.
It's fine. I'm not sweating.
So what's funny about
probably.
that word is if you work it into a work email, you learn who your friends are. For example, and this is just a real quick story from the world of Silver Thunder. So a couple years ago, when I was working I was at a corporate job, managing a sales team, and so I threw out a contest that I thought would create more sales activity from the sales reps of send more emails, more cold calls. And I said, all right, I want you guys to start sending emails, and I want you to get creative in your email signatures. And I want to see as many different, like, hilarious, but like still somewhat professional, like cold emails that you can send. And someone on my team who traditionally his signature always read, which has always kind of been my go-to, of kind regards, person's name, contact information.
Yeah.
One email, it was a perfectly normal cold email to a prospective client, but he changed one word. Instead of kind regards, he wrote moist regards. The response was the response was 4 words.
Yeah.
Who is your manager?
Oh no.
He sends my information, and I got a phone call. This lady was not happy. And so
that's hilarious.
Hilarious.
So I had to fall on the sword to the VP, who overheard me having this conversation. He walks by my office and he goes, "What's that all about?" So then I had to tell him, well, she was mad because so-and-so said moist regards. And he said, well, why did so-and-so say that? That doesn't make any sense. And I said, fun fact, it's kind of my fault. And so I got the old professional PP slap, if you will, from the VP. And that was a fun day. So
Amazing.
So I've never really personally had an issue with that word, but my wife, my mother, everybody close to me who would not like that word has been constantly on my case because I'll use it like ironically around them. And I kind of stopped after that because I was like, you just never know the consequences of throwing out the old moist.
You never know. And
yeah.
I have to say, Jay Clarkster, thanks for joining the chat. Welcome to the moistest chat on the internet. Dave's out. Dave quit.
We lost Dave. No,
Dave quit. He quit. I don't know if his internet gave out, but this chat was too moist for Dave, and he had to get out of here.
So I'm now Dave. Very quick on your feet there, Jordan. Mr. Producer with the mostest there.
Listen,
Quick on your feet.
Our mod, my brother Jordan, is the best mod. Well, he's running this whole stream. The man's a legend.
I could just
so
be right
God
here
bless you.
anytime if you need me.
Cheers
bless
to
you.
Jordan. Cheers to Jordan.
Pizza's hashtag too moist for Dave. I love it.
Oh, look,
love
he is there with the green screen. He is there. He just pops up at the bottom of the screen. He said, hell yeah, it's
like
like
about
the
it.
Jedi Council. Did we really lose Dave?
He's gone, dog.
Oh,
I have no
no.
idea. Maybe like so at his parents' house, the internet is a little wonky.
Maybe
It's a
he's
little
drowning.
wonky. He could be dying a little
Too
bit.
moist.
You never know. You never know. So while I'm sure Dave is correcting his technical issues, you said that you wanted to talk about best Batmans. So I will forcibly segue you into that segment of
Please.
the show.
Somebody's got to segues, dude.
And
Jesus.
segue, go.
All right, so mine personally so I have a list. I have the 7 Batmans. I can walk you through my list really quick
Yes.
without much explanation. I'm just going to hit you with the highlights here. We're
Okay.
talking, I guess, from worst to last, or worst to first, says Blake. Number 7, I have to go with Ben Affleck because I haven't seen the movies. So not so much a ranking, more as a I can't determine. Going number 6, Val Kilmer. Fine, whatever. Number 5, George Clooney. Fucking hilarious
Yes.
as his run in Batman because you could tell like he didn't think this was very serious at all, and he plays it that way, and it's hilarious.
And his
Moving
bat
on.
suit had nipples. I mean,
He had the nipples and the codpiece. He whatever. He knew what he was in, and I hope he got paid
codpiece.
big. I
It's
hope
George
he got
Clooney.
paid
Of course he did.
good for him. God bless him, because that was like what 97, I think. And
Let's see. So he was in Batman. It wasn't Batman
He's in-
Forever. That was Val Kilmer. He was in
he's in
Batman and Robin, I believe.
Yes.
And that was the
Yes.
one. That was the one with Poison Ivy and the Riddler. Am I correct?
Poison Ivy and Mr. Freeze.
Mr. Freeze. That is, you are correct in that. Yes.
Forever was the Riddler and Two-Face.
Yes, correct.
believe.
Tommy Lee Jones.
Tommy Lee Jones. So then above George Clooney here, we're talking Adam West, who, contrary to some beliefs, he wasn't just the TV Batman. There's a 1966 film. Hilarious. There's shark repellent. There's a ton of one-liners. Adam West is hilarious as Batman. Moving on, Michael Keaton, number 3 for me. Classic. Then, might be a hot take, so come for me, Chad, if you need to. Rob Pattinson, number 2 for me. And number 1 being Christian Bale.
So, interesting list. I will say, without diving into context, having never seen any of the Ben Affleck movies, I'll put him as number 7 because I think you can't really rank him if you haven't seen him.
Agreed.
I would put Val Kilmer ahead of George Clooney. Oh,
Okay. Hey,
oh,
Hey. We got our boy.
we have an intruder on the pitch.
Hey, we're back. Mod hot on
Uh-oh.
the
Hey.
controls here. What's up, dog?
What?
We're talking
Oh.
favorite Batmans. You missed my list, but it's fine because you don't matter. Only Silver Thunder matters
There we
to
go.
me.
So I will put Val Kilmer ahead of George Clooney. I will put, again, I said I wasn't going to get into context. So then I would say I'd go Rob Pattinson, and then top 3 for me would be probably in this order: Christian Bale, Michael Keaton, Adam West. I think you have to give Adam West credit for initially bringing the character to life.
100%.
I do believe there was an 8th actor of Batman that was in like maybe a short or maybe another feature film. I don't know who it was.
Okay.
Or it was during Adam West's run as TV Batman. So I don't know if we count him. It's kind of like how James Bond fans,
Okay.
not to throw out a little teaser, but James Bond fans often forget about George Lazenby. He was in one film, which essentially was a film that was made despite some contract disputes with some of the more well-known Bonds, and they had to kind of fill the role.
Okay.
But I would say that you have to give Adam West credit for initially bringing the character to life in kind of the comic sense. I think
Sure.
Adam West's comedic timing as the character, because it was far more of a comedy character than anything else. Adam West was great, and he was able to successfully translate that into a successful acting career as the mayor of Quahog on Family Guy. So
Yeah.
props to
totally.
him. Props to him.
Perfect.
It's incredible to me how many people of the younger generations have no clue that Adam West is actually played by Adam West and is not a parody. It is just Adam West, and he
Just
is
right.
that crazy. But that being said, I think that the top 3 from the top 3 for me being Christian Bale, Michael Keaton, Adam West. We'll talk about Rob Pattinson in there too. I think Rob Pattinson did the best job of bringing the Bruce Wayne character to a realistic on-screen persona. I think Christian Bale was probably the most well-rounded in being kind of that billionaire playboy that we all got to know. Did a good job as kind of that tough guy Batman. One thing I will say is that I don't think Rob Pattinson don't think he tried to. He didn't necessarily bring the tough guy persona out of Batman as well. I don't think that was the point of his character.
Agreed, yeah.
But for me, Michael Keaton has to be mentioned in best Batmans of all time, because I think of the early Batmans of kind of the more modern movies, if you will, Michael Keaton did a phenomenal job of being kind of that gritty kind of tough guy. I don't know he was as convincing as like billionaire playboy,
Right.
but I will say that the because Michael Keaton was Batman, I believe, in 2 movies. I think
Yes.
so he was Batman in the original Batman with the Joker as played by
Jack
Jack
Nicholson.
Nicholson.
Mhm.
Phenomenal, by the way. Phenomenal. And then he was Batman Returns, which saw,
Yes.
Danny DeVito's the penguin guy,
love that movie.
the whole cigarette smoking, never forget how traumatized I was as a kid watching him eat raw fish. I was like, who would do this? This is
It's a fucked up
crazy.
movie.
This is crazy. It's Tim Burton. It's the
Yeah.
and I'll always say I have had difficult times enjoying other Tim Burton movies because that is the Tim Burton movie to me, because part of it, I grew up, I'm biased. I grew up with that movie.
Yeah.
But I remember I had that movie because I waited up late one night till it was on like TBS or something at like 10 o'clock, and I taped it on like a blank VHS and watched it till the tape like disintegrated. Watched it repeatedly.
Hilarious.
Loved that movie. But Not Fighting Words, Ted, I think probably not correct, but Not Fighting Words, I think they both do a great job on their own.
Not gonna lie, I take Zoe Kravitz over Halle Berry. I love
agree.
Halle Berry.
I agree.
I would take Zoe Kravitz.
I agree.
I think Zoe Kravitz did a better job as Catwoman. I'm not sure if we're talking Zoe Kravitz versus Halle Berry, like, marry one, kill one. I'm not sure I take Zoe Kravitz in that debate. But that being said, I think you have to give Michael Keaton credit because he did a good job in a time when they weren't as concerned about them really bringing the Batman character to life. I think he did a better job than both Val Kilmer and George Clooney.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
In a kind of a laughable type of scenario, but still making it a cool character.
Well, yeah, that's exactly it. He took this kind of inherently ridiculous character coming off of like the Adam West stuff and like this inherently mildly ridiculous character and humanizing him in a way, but making him cool.
Yeah.
But also making him like just the right amount of like witty. I don't know. It played perfectly for the universe that Tim Burton created for those Batman movies. I think he was perfect for those movies.
Dave, your thoughts?
On
Favorite
my
Batmans.
favorite Batmans. Okay, because my fucking internet went down right as we were getting to the juicy part.
Called it.
We thought you got offended by the word moist.
No, that's Blake. Out of the two of us, it's Blake who gets offended.
I wasn't
by the
offended.
word.
I've gotten past my moist,
Cool.
shivers, I guess.
Anyway, I look at this in a very specific way. I don't know if you guys talked about it, but for me, it's not just like top 3 Batman, like actors,
Batman,
but like Batmans, like Peterman, Batman. I look at it as who played Batman the best and who played Bruce Wayne the best. So I have two different ideas of that. And up until 2022's The Batman, I viewed I would say Christian Bale was the best Bruce Wayne. I would say the best like superhero Batman, believe it or not, was Batfleck, in my opinion, because of how brutal he was and how jacked he was. But I honestly think that past that, you guys are right up Michael Keaton. I think he's a great Bruce Wayne. I don't think he was Batman. I don't think he was a great Bruce Wayne. And then I would say I just think that Robert Pattinson was the best of both. Because Silver Thunder said it earlier, it was the same character, just did he have a mask on or not?
It's a fair point.
And
it's a fair point.
I loved it. I think he's played Bruce Wayne the best, and I think that his Batman was also great because it was, a dark, brooding, intelligent detective, which is inherently what Batman is. Versus this like hero in the other movies, which I mean, I guess if you're watching Batman, you're here for a hero. But I just loved the way that they portrayed the Batman in this, and I loved R. Pat's portrayal of it. So I would say top 3, if I'm being generous, 3-1: Keaton, Bale, Pattinson.
Okay, mine was a little similar. Mine was Keaton, Pattinson, Bale. Also Ted in the chat. We're gonna have to talk Lars von Trier movies, for sure. But listen, I think it's interesting. I don't know how the older Batmans stick with you, Dave. Because I personally I love Adam West's interpretation, but like the Batman and Robin George Clooney interpretation makes me laugh so fucking hard. I love it.
I have 2 words for you,
Mhm.
and I actually typed them out in my little notes that I put for
Mhm.
to make sure I had everything written down here.
Yeah.
Moist
2 words.
regards.
Better nipple suits.
Nipple suits, yes.
Nipple suits.
Our
Why
collective
on
favorite.
earth did they put nipples on the fucking Batman suit?
It was a different time. It's just one of those
Listen.
things. It's not Batman without rock hard nipples, because let's be honest, as kids, we're watching Batman beat the hell out of like these really, obscure and really uncoordinated bad guys. Our nipples were hard. Why shouldn't Batman's be hard?
Exactly.
I mean, it makes sense if you think about it.
Nipple inclusivity, I believe.
Right. I'm not saying I was against it. I just didn't understand why they did it. I thought that looking back, it's hilarious. I remember
so
as a
funny.
kid watching that and seeing the first time they stood up and going, something feels different. I couldn't figure it out. But now looking back, I'm like, it's the nipples.
I loved those movies. I was 5 when Batman Returns came out. No, sorry. I was
You were
5 when
not.
Batman Forever came out. Val Kilmer, and then 7 when Batman and Robin came out. And I loved those movies. I think I don't know if Wendy's still in the chat. Took us to see these movies in the theater. I think Jordan was with us.
Yeah.
And I was obsessed with it. They were so great because they're so weird. And as a 7-year-old non-film critic, you're like, whatever, it's just goofy. Arnold's there. You got Poison Ivy. You got weird bat skates. You got Clooney with his bat credit card. It's fucking wild. But
really
like
good.
looking back in it, like watching these movies again, or even seeing clips from it, it's Joel Schumacher directed these movies, and he directed them like a comic book, and they are oh shit, Fridge Cam coming out. Sorry, not to derail this, but this is an important moment here.
No, we didn't play the music.
I don't care.
We could do it again. Do you want to do it again with the music?
I think we should. Sorry, we need to take
There's
just a
still
moment.
time.
There's still time. I think we need to play some of the music.
We have to.
Sorry.
do it.
Yeah, it's,
Sorry. Hold on,
I mean-
everybody. This is important.
Oh, wonderful.
Hey, there's some Fridge Cam emotes in the chat. Chat knows. Chat
Giving
knows.
the people what they want.
That's
Me.
fantastic. Oh, so good. I'm so glad that just happened.
as seen on the biggest party on Twitch. No self promo.
No, it's true. Self-promotion. You should. If you guys want some legitimately great times on stream, go watch Silver Thunder. Tell us when you actually stream. Tell us your schedule.
So I'm pretty regular Mondays, Wednesdays, regular like Activa. I'm pretty regular. Monday. Did not mean to make you joke. Sorry. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Generally at 8:30 Eastern. We're gonna do we're here tonight, obviously at 8:30 on the First Prize Films podcast. We'll be live over next door at the Silver Thunder Dome coming
Yes.
up once we wrap things up here. So if you guys want to check things out, you're welcome to. Like I said, just happy to be here and enjoying my time with you guys. And was that a yogurt reference? It was indeed. It was indeed. Yogurt reference to bring things full circle and make it relevant to First Prize Films. Jamie Lee Curtis, spokesperson for Activa,
Waiting for it.
also famous horror film star from the Halloween series. Your thoughts, Blake?
Absolutely.
Fuck you. That's I love the Jamie Lee Curtis. I love the original Halloweens. Don't you catch me talking about some Rob Zombie ass Halloweens. Don't do it. Don't
Listen,
go into this. Dave, shut your fucking mouth. I don't want to hear from you. We're moving on. I'm not talking about Halloween.
I was going
love
to talk about the
Halloween.
monsters.
Okay, we can talk about the monsters.
The monster. Oh God.
Rip. It is coming
Oh.
straight to Netflix, by the way, or going straight to Netflix.
Yeah, because it's not gonna. Nobody's gonna watch that shit
the
for money.
Because the trailer reaction on our stream alone last week was everybody shit on this thing. It's terrible. Looks awful. Anyway, it's going straight to Netflix.
I loved the Monsters as a kid. It was
Me
a great
too.
show.
Me
It was
too.
a great
too.
show.
I used to catch the reruns. I
Listen,
used to catch reruns on TV. It's great.
I would be more than happy for a the Monsters reboot, as long as literally anybody else was directing it.
Wait, who's directing it? I
Rob
haven't heard.
Zombie,
Rob
dude.
Zombie.
Oh, that's gonna be phenomenal. Are you kidding me?
Watch the trailer. That's all I can say. That's all I
listen.
can say. Watch the trailer.
I know there are a lot
Really
of phenomenal
bad, dude.
directors. I mean, we've been graced to live in the same time frame as guys like Steven Spielberg,
Sure.
and Stanley Kubrick and some of these phenomenal directors, but nothing to me says great director like a deranged heavy metal artist. That's all I'm saying.
Fair point.
Nothing. I mean, nothing.
And here's my thing. I don't hate. Hey, Arkman, Icky
what's
Arkman
up?
up in the chat. What's up, buddy? So here's the thing. I don't hate every Rob Zombie movie because I think his original films that he did are perfect for him. But when he took over Halloween, it was a horrible fucking nightmare. And and I hate it, and I will never not hate it. And don't you all come for me? It's garbage. Anyway, when he's tasked with taking on other IP, it never fucking turns out. So yeah, okay. Oh, okay, Ted in the chat. Devil's Rejects, House of a Thousand Corpses, marry one, kill one. Great question.
Can you kill them both, even if by accident?
Yeah, one's an accidental death, the other one's a homicide. I'm gonna go with I would probably marry Devil's Rejects and kill House of a Thousand Corpses. Not that I'm like in love with these movies per se, but
Yeah, you were just
I
forced into a
respect it.
corner here.
I respect the artistic ideas behind these movies. Whatever. They're not for everybody, and I get it. I just don't think they should have given him Hall of fucking Ween, and then we got what we got. Listen,
Yeah,
it's a thing.
we're gonna avoid this rabbit hole again.
We're gonna circle right on back to some Batman.
We're gonna have
movies.
to, yes.
You know what I think I need, Jordan? I think we need a Kiss from a Rose sting.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
I'm pretty sure
Getting back
Silver
into
Thunder
Batman.
sings it better than Seal does.
He does.
I
He
was
just
there
made
for
her-
that
he just
stream,
made it there.
and
I was there
smoothed
for
out
that
my
stream
nose.
too. It's good shit.
I'm just saying they requested Kiss from a Rose unprepared. Unprepared for me to sing every word like I was on stage at the Grand Ole Opry. That's all I'm saying. Hey, Dell Jr. in the chat. What's up,
Del
Dell?
Jr. What's up?
What's up,
Welcome to the
Del?
chat.
Dell is one of the greatest people ever on planet Earth because everywhere he goes,
Yeah.
he is constantly talking about Busch Light, and I love that. I love it.
You're in good company here, Del.
fact,
Welcome.
In fact, he just sent me a Twitter DM, and I told him to come check out the stream because he sent me a Twitter DM of a Busch Light can.
That's
And I
hilarious.
said, that's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. So, Dell, this one's for you, baby.
Yes.
Yeah. So now I have a question as it relates to Batman movies, not
Sure.
to bring us back full circle, but
No.
as it relates to Batman movies. And this will be a shorter conversation because it's a little bit easier, I think. But let's talk about let's not do an extensive list, but who is the best Alfred?
Oh.
Go.
Oh shit.
Straight up Michael Caine.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Listen, I really liked Andy Serkis. I really
Andy
liked him,
Serkis. Yep.
but you can't beat Michael Caine.
Well, straight up, Andy Serkis was underutilized, in my opinion.
Yeah, he
Great
was.
actor.
I agree.
Underutilized as Alfred, if we're talking real.
I
here.
got him. Okay, listen. I will say, I both of the
Pizza's
two
the old
Alfreds.
guy.
The old-
Truth.
Thanks,
It's
Pizza.
Michael Caine.
It's Michael Caine.
Some people just want to watch the world burn.
Yeah. So both Michael Caine and Andy Serkis both made me emotional in their movies.
Yeah.
The final ones. Well, I guess we don't know if this one's the final. Anyway, because in Michael Caine in the last one of the last scenes of Dark Knight Rises, he's at the funeral or whatever for Bruce Wayne. He's crying and stuff that made me like. And then Andy Serkis is Ted is that said in the chat he's a god actor. I think he was absolutely underutilized and he could have crushed it even more than he did. But I just can't help but love Michael Caine more.
Michael Caine.
Because
You can't help but just say his name in his
you have
own,
to.
your like botched ass version of his own accent. I love it.
I'm not even good at a British accent. We talked about this.
Either
I'm not even
Michael
good at a British
Caine.
accent, but everybody can do a good Michael Caine.
Right. Yeah, I would say Michael Caine is the best. Sorry. Excuse me. Michael Caine is the best.
He says,
Alfred.
he's so good at, it's so fantastic as Alfred. He returned as Alfred in Inception and Interstellar. I love it.
That's
He's not wrong.
It's true. It's
Listen,
absolutely true.
In our sci-fi episode last week, we did Inception versus Total Recall. Blake actually has a joke about that, about how he's glad Alfred got work release from Wayne Enterprises.
You know what I respect though is that Christopher Nolan understands when he's creating these movies, he understands in the characters that he's creating who is the best person to play them, and he's hit a home run every time he's cast Michael Caine.
Michael Caine.
And the best part about it is that Christopher Nolan gives no fucks. He says, there's about 8 actors I like to work with, and 7 of them are going to be in every movie that I make, and that's it. And it's Christian Bale.
Yeah.
It's Michael Caine.
Mhm.
It's the I can't think of her name, but the actress that plays Talia al Ghul, and she's in Inception. And then
oh my God, you're right.
and then he rotates the lead, right? So like Christian Bale had his turn, and then you go Leo, who by the way, Leo is in a league of his own, in my opinion.
Yep.
In a lot of ways. Then you got good old boy Matthew McConaughey. All right. And who, by the way, as somebody who I have a hard time taking serious in a very serious role,
Fair.
Matthew McConaughey has come up with some bangers.
Absolutely.
100%.
Interstellar, one of the best movies ever made.
Love it, yeah.
And Matthew
Agreed.
McConaughey, Cillian Murphy is another greatest hits of.
Nolan.
I started to say Christian Bale, it was Christopher Nolan. Cillian Murphy's who, by the way, phenomenal actor. Matthew McConaughey's great in Interstellar, but I do respect that Christopher Nolan's like, there's like 8 people that I'll work with, and the rest of y'all are prima donnas that don't care.
Mhm.
I'm working with these people. We're gonna make my movie. I'm gonna write the same movie 8 times with different plot lines, but the same kind of 8 characters with the same actors, and you're gonna make them all mega smash hits, and they all are. And how do you listen? If you're the guy running, Paramount or MGM or whoever's making his movies, I forget who Christopher Nolan's tied with. Maybe it's Legendary Films. Maybe
I think you're right.
I think it's Legendary Films. I can see the
The
Same.
logo.
the
Yeah.
little icon. Yeah, the logos. Christopher Nolan does a good job of utilizing these exceptional actors
Mhm.
in roles that are the exact same as they were in the last movie, and like we
Mhm.
believe it. We're like, oh, this,
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
know.
that's what I
It's
thought.
great.
That's what I thought you were gonna say. Christopher Nolan likes working with the same, working with a solid crew of like 8 actors, but
Mhm.
7 of them are Michael Caine.
Michael Caine. The best
Michael
part,
Caine.
not to dive too deep down the rabbit hole, but you're familiar with the guy who preceded James Corden on the Late Late Show, Craig Ferguson.
I
Yes.
love
Yes.
Craig Ferguson. Yeah.
Craig
yes.
listen, Letterman fan for years, became a Craig Ferguson fan by
Yeah.
just not wanting to go to sleep and still watching Craig Ferguson.
Right. Same.
Craig Ferguson, genius, absolute genius. He has a segment. Well, had a segment that he would do. It would pop up twice a year, 3 times a year. It was called In Outer Space with Michael Caine. And it was him doing a Michael Caine impression. just not. It was
Oh
nonsense.
my god. That's
Look it up.
hilarious.
Listen, look it up on YouTube. Outer Space with Michael Caine, or something along those lines. It is absolute late night TV gold to the likes that Jimmy Fallon and Jimmy Kimmel will never achieve.
Absolutely not.
Love them,
Agreed. Yeah.
love them,
Love them.
but
Not
they'll
on that
never
level.
achieve. They'll never achieve greatness. And one last thing before I get off my Craig Ferguson high horse, his sidekick being Jeff the robot,
Yes.
exceptional,
Hilarious.
exceptional.
Hilarious.
Incredible. Incredible.
And the voice actor that played the robot was a very talented impressionist. And I'll never forget the episode where Morgan Freeman is his guest, and then the voice actor that played Jeff the robot live. And by the way, it was just him off stage with a microphone riffing with Craig Ferguson in real time. So not only is he a talented impressionist, he's a great improv actor as well. Morgan Freeman's on the show, and Craig Ferguson says, you know my robot, I'm not going to try to do the Scottish accent, but he says, my robot does a really good impression of you. And Morgan Freeman says, is that so? And he said, yeah. And then the robot says to Morgan Freeman, he goes, what would you like to say to yourself? And Morgan Freeman just looks at it. He was completely taken aback because it's so spot on. And it's good when Morgan Freeman is like, all right,
It's
I
like,
call
right.
Uncle. That's good. It's phenomenal. So it's great TV. But
That's amazing. Underrated late night host, truly. He
I
never
agree.
got
I
his
think he was
full
great.
comeuppance.
the
But-
thing is, though, I think he went out on his own terms. I
agree.
truly
Yes.
believe that when Letterman retired, I truly believe Craig Ferguson probably was in play for that show. I don't think he wanted it.
Yeah.
And Colbert's great. Don't get me wrong. Colbert is probably the best interviewer of all of them. I mean, he's
you go.
Yes,
really
I agree
good.
with you.
He's really good with people from all walks of life. Like, he's good with the older actors. He interviews in a way that's funny without being like condescending to, like, because one thing people said about Letterman is that he was very condescending at times to some of these more accomplished actors. Colbert's not that. He does a great job with the accomplished actors, but like then when you watch him interviewing, like for example, he's done some interviews with the kids from Stranger Things and some of these younger actors. He does a great job with them coming down to their level. He's great. He's great, but he's not quite as funny. Like Fallon is good because he brings that SNL kind of sketch comedy element to late night TV. But where Craig Ferguson was good is that number one, his monologues that he wrote himself, by the way, none of the other hosts are writing their own monologues. Craig Ferguson's monologues were top notch. He had this ongoing meme where he would always reference, anytime he would reference Paul McCartney, and he did it as often as he could, he would show a picture of Angela Lansbury on screen, and it was hilarious. And then if he ever referenced, it got to the point where then he would start referencing Angela Lansbury and show a picture of Paul McCartney. Also great.
Hilarious.
It was like, but like that level of comedy, you're not getting that from a lot of guys in the game. Like James Corden is entertaining because he's an entertainer. He's a Broadway guy. The carpool karaoke is a phenomenal segment. It's a phenomenally creative idea. It's different, to the point where it got picked up as a series on Apple TV. Like, it's great. But Craig Ferguson, I think, and if you've never seen any of his stand-up specials, please don't walk, run and go watch them. Is American on Purpose and some of the other ones. Like, it's phenomenal. I mean, it's next level stuff. But anyway, enough about Craig Ferguson. Sorry. Enough about TV's Craig Ferguson.
Well, welcome to the chat, the BP show. What's up? Welcome.
Thanks for coming. Appreciate
Thanks
it.
for coming.
I will give my 2 cents on the whole late night host kerfuffle, and
Give me
then
all your hot takes.
So I will say, as you guys are talking, the only thing that keeps like rotating in my head is that quite literally the worst of the current talk show host, late night talk show host, is Jimmy Fallon.
I agree as fuck with that. I'm not gonna lie.
I
I'm not
can't
a Jimmy Fallon fan myself. I'm not a James Corden fan. Honestly, I really love Conan myself.
Conan's really good.
Conan's good.
I like Conan. I like Colbert because like SilverThunder said, he's a great interviewer. Jimmy Fallon might be the worst in all the categories because he's a sore loser. I don't know if you see him lose. He's a horrible loser. He can't. Pizza's saying I'm going to rant for 20 minutes. Maybe, probably.
Start the clock.
Because when he interviews people, he can't let them finish their fucking sentences.
Yeah.
He continually butts in and just like not even says anything. He just says what you're saying, the words you're saying.
Just
at the words
repeats
you're saying.
Repeats
Like,
what you're saying,
listen,
yeah.
if I like in my wildest dreams ever ended up on Jimmy Fallon's couch, I would be like, "Can you shut the fuck up and let me finish, please?"
Please stop.
People are here to see the actor on the couch, not you, Jimmy. That's the
Oh,
only reason
yeah.
they're tuning
You
in right
know,
now.
I agree. I don't disagree with much of what you're saying, but I will
Mhm.
say the one thing that late night TV has become almost to its demise, and I say that very seriously, almost to its demise, is that a lot of the shows are there about the hosts and less about the guests. The one thing that
Yeah.
you know, like Jack Parr did really well.
Yes.
Why the fuck can I not think of his name? The guy that was there forever.
Johnny Carson?
Johnny, thank you. God, why can I not think of that? Johnny Carson. The one thing, for them, it was always about their guests. And that was kind of like the heyday of it. And it's kind of, and that's one thing where, like, I think that Letterman rubbed people wrong, is that Letterman was almost a larger than life personality.
Totally.
Way more so. And I think that's one of the reasons why Leno ended up getting the nod over Letterman. And I was a Letterman fan. Never really liked Jay Leno, but Jay Leno was a better iteration, I think, of Carson and Parr, and that he was kind of there to facilitate, but it wasn't about him. He didn't have much to offer.
Right.
I think Letterman set the stage and kind of became this larger than life personality. I think everyone is trying. It used to be everyone on late night TV was trying to be Carson. Now they're all trying to be David Letterman, and everyone's come up short. And to prove my point, if you've ever watched Letterman's Netflix series, my next guest needs no further introduction, where he brings people on and has an interview, but obviously it's Netflix, so it's uncensored and unscripted. By the way, the episode with Cardi B, phenomenal TV.
Oh, Lord.
Listen, that sounds like it's complete bullshit. I swear to God.
I've seen it. It's good stuff.
You can say what you want about Cardi B. She's a very intelligent woman.
Yep.
She is hilarious, and she has incredible comedic timing.
She's quick.
She's quick. She's witty. He asked her very almost condescendingly, like, because she's got those big ass long fingernails. And he says, "What do you use those for?" She says, "I use them to eat sushi," like acting like she's it's like how do you hate that? But I think you're right about Jimmy Fallon. I think he brings a very improv SNL type approach to late night. I understand why he's taken on more with the younger generation, because it's a little more slapsticky, a little more gimmicky,
more games,
it's
and like
more games.
His
when he has Justin Timberlake on, it's great TV because they're obviously such good friends and they play so well together. Like, there are certain times where Jimmy Fallon really, really shines. But what we can all agree on is that at no point in time does anyone ever think that Jimmy Kimmel is good at his job. I think we can all agree with that. No one watches Jimmy Kimmel. No one ever has.
I think Jimmy Kimmel has his place for sure. I'm
last in the ratings. That's his place.
I don't like whatever. I'm not a huge late night watcher myself. Ted kind of mentioned this in the chat. Dick Cavett. If you're looking for some old school interviews and stuff, watch some Dick Cavett stuff on YouTube. I like Tom Waits a lot, and he had a really great.
Great.
Tom Waits, like, he has a lot of great interviews with a lot of people. I'm not a huge late night fan in general. The last one I really glommed onto was Conan before the Leno thing, because Leno's a fucking egomaniac for sure. And I've met the man in real life, and he was nice enough to everybody around, but like, just all the stuff that went down with Conan and Leno was awful and weird, and the networks handled it bad, and
they absolutely fucking
totally
fumbled.
That was bad. That was bad. They fumbled the bag big time. But I agree with you. I think what separates Conan is that Conan's not there for himself, because Conan was successful more than he ever wanted to be before he ever got to late night TV.
Right.
He was perfectly fine playing second fiddle for years. What makes Conan great is his background as a writer, not a comedian. And I know and the lines blur a lot, because a lot of great comedians are also great writers. Like, there's certainly a tremendous crossover. But what's really separated Conan is that he could, on the fly, make something funny, but not at the expense of his guest, and not at the exaltation of himself. It was just, hey, there's a little bit of humor in here. Let me just pluck this out real quick. We're going to have a good laugh. And what I find is you can tell a good host based on how loose their guests are able to be, one thing that as much as I loved Letterman, there were times where you could see his guests were kind of not really into it, not really feeling it.
Yeah.
With
Yes.
Conan, everybody feels like they're having a good time, including the guests. They're there to promote something, but at the end of the day, we don't really care for you to talk about this movie that no one's going to go see and this, that, and the other. You're here because the you know, you're here because the distribution company was like, hey, go promote this film. We'll get you on, you know, Conan, whatever. With Conan, his guests have a good time. Andy Richter's a great sidekick. And is Andy Richter Conan's sidekick? Yes. Okay. So Andy Richter, great, very good foil to Conan, kind of a more of a tight-laced personality, but still very funny in his own right. But I will say, and this is my last hot take for late night TV. I will say, as much of a Paul Schaefer guy as I am, longtime band leader for Letterman, the Roots are the best musical act in late night TV, and it's not close, and it's never been close. It's never been close. The Roots are able to carry a lot of poor segments on Jimmy's show, and again, I love Jimmy Fallon. He's a great entertainer, but the Roots are able to really carry a lot of segments that fall flat if not for them really stepping up, and they do such a great job. They're phenomenal musicians. They're great people. I just love everything about them, and they do such a phenomenal job. Maybe that's not a hot take. I feel like maybe it is to some people, but Chad is yelling at me for getting us on late night TV, by the way. I am so sorry. I am so sorry.
Dude, you fucking blew it. Listen, if I could just bring this back to Kiss from a Rose, I think I would be really happy. If we get some more Seal up in this bitch,
yes,
I'm just
yes.
saying. Thank you. Actually, if we're talking about Seal, if we're talking about Kiss from a Rose, I do have a fun fact. I'm full of them. Dave, you know.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Kiss from a Rose was originally released for the 1994 film Neverending Story 3. Was re-released for Batman Forever. That's when it became a hit. And that's the song that I'm going to have played on repeat at my funeral until everybody just leaves.
Until everyone just leaves, huh? So it's so
Leave
it was
me alone.
But Seal was the original artist. You're saying that was initially released. That was initially released because of what movie now?
The year before, in 1994, is originally released for The Neverending Story 3, not the original, obviously, but The Neverending Story 3, which obviously nobody cared about. I didn't know existed. Turns out nobody else gives a fuck about it. So when it became popular is from the Batman iteration, which is 95 Batman Forever.
Why is it that my brain, knowing full well what song that is and hearing it over and over again as a child, knowing full well what it is, still wants to connect it? I mean, yeah, of course not, but it still wants to connect that sound to the fucking P. Diddy song from Godzilla.
What?
Yeah, I don't know why my brain wants to connect the two.
What?
That's
Yeah,
interesting.
it doesn't make any sense at all.
I
My
literally
brain
don't
wants
even
to
know what
connect
song you're
them.
talking about.
Of course.
Getting hot in here.
The P. Diddy song from Godzilla?
Yes.
Jordan, I need some clarity on this.
What kind of clarity are we looking for here?
What the fuck song is Dave talking about?
Who's Dave?
Fair question.
You became.
Take it.
No.
Take it for me, because
No, we're
I
not
have to.
doing that.
It's called,
literally-
the song
we
is
can't
called
do it.
"Come With Me."
Off to a good start.
By
Yeah.
who?
I've said that before, but I don't know the song.
Right before I went to jail.
You see, D-Rock knows it.
Hey,
said,
D-Rock
"Come with
knows.
me."
Yeah.
Listen,
he knows what's up.
if you want to know about really bad 90s and 2000s rap songs, D-Rock's your guy.
Oh, my
Love
man. All right. Always be here. Always be around, because we need your knowledge base.
So you say it's "Come With Me" by P. Diddy?
Yes. I remember the video for it. I can see the video for that.
Take this over, because my bladder is very tiny.
So I'm gonna hear you out for a second, but I'm gonna give this a listen. Can chat hear this? Or is it just in my headphones?
I can hear it.
I can hear it.
I can.
Okay.
Wait, who is this?
This is the P. Diddy song.
That is not the P. Diddy song.
Oh, well, that's the one that Spotify says it is.
No, absolutely not. This is you can tell just by the sound of the
No, it's called Come to Me. Come to Me. This one.
I don't think so, bro. No,
What's
that's not it either.
Okay, what's it called, D-Rock? What's it called, D-Rock? D-Rock.
It's literally called "Come with Me." Puff Daddy, come with me.
Puff Daddy, come with me. All right, hold on.
It's a 7-minute song.
Is it not? I don't see it on Spotify. He says P. Diddy.
I got it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Puff Daddy, P. Diddy. Same.
Yeah, play a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead.
Jimmy Page is on that song.
Kenny Page. There you go.
You see?
Hold on, that samples Cashmere from Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, it's fucking. This is the song that every time I know "Kiss from a Rose" is different. I know it is.
This is what I'm getting
some
when I
reason.
search "Come with Me."
Yeah.
Is that it, D-Rock? D-Rock says that's it.
Yep. I remember it. I don't know why. It was a terrible. You can stop method.
Thank God.
I don't know why my brain does that.
Yeah, so the actual version's not on Spotify. That's why I couldn't find it. There's a bullshit cover version, but I
Oh
don't play
yeah.
that. But yeah, so "Kiss from a Rose" is a great song.
Agreed.
And I think it's a song that has stood the test of time without being so dramatically overplayed in
I
pop
agree.
culture that I think everyone kind of enjoys it. But then I don't think there's been anything to cross it over into the younger generations. So I'm waiting for I'm waiting for "Kiss from a Rose" to have like a moment in like Outer Banks or something on Netflix that like the kids
Oh,
are
yeah.
watching these days, for them to be like, wait, what is this song? In the same way that we had a recent song that was older, that a lot of people maybe knew but didn't know, and now a lot of the younger generations are really into it. We're good with copyright as long as we don't play more than 10 seconds, is what my lawyer tells me.
It's true.
So we're gonna stop that there. But
Ted in the chat real quick. I'm drinking Firestone Walker 805.
Firestone Walker 805, never heard of that. How is it? What kind of beer is it?
It's delicious. It's kind of I think it's an ale or something.
I'm drinking a lager. It's called Busch Light. It's brewed in a couple of spots around the country, but for the
Okay.
most part, it's a very niche beer. Yeah, not a huge fan base.
Yeah, no, I know it's very, very popular with a very small amount of people, very concentrated in the Midwest area.
Yeah.
I've heard of rumblings of this.
Rumbling.
Yeah.
Can you let me ask you this question? This
Yeah.
is going to determine a lot about the next 10 months of my life.
Oh shit.
Can you get Busch Light in California?
Probably.
Probably.
Yes. I mean, yeah, probably. Listen, I don't drink Busch Light. Respect.
Yes.
to
My
you.
dad
Yes, you
has drank Busch Light my entire life.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I need to party with your dad. He's in the Cincinnati area, right?
You should party with Dave's
I'm
dad.
gonna come
Clem
party with Dave's dad.
Fucking rules.
He drinks Busch Light. Of course he fucking rules.
I don't think I've had a Busch Light, and this isn't a slight, but I haven't had a Busch Light probably since I was in college.
Well,
I had a lot of Natty Lights one night, and just the idea of it makes me fucking sick all over again. Not gonna lie.
Ted says he drinks the Yinglings. Listen, Yingling is a great regional beer,
I do like
but
Yingling.
but only people from Ohio and Pennsylvania and a little bit of Florida really know about Yingling. I remember the days in which there was a premium on getting a case of Yingling from Pennsylvania before they were even in Ohio, but it was close enough where we knew about it. And then when they first came to Ohio and a case of Yingling was cheaper than Bud Light, those were the days. Those were the days.
Wow.
I remember when Yingling came to Ohio. I was like, oh shit! I bought the fuck out of it every time I was in
It was
Ohio.
cheap. It was
cheap as hell.
stupid cheap.
Oh, it was amazing.
It was like $15 for a case, and Bud Light was like $18-19 for a case.
Yeah,
Then you got your tried and true Busch Light,
can't go wrong.
30 Busch Lights for $20. How do you beat that?
It's true. Pizza's in the chat. So we both went to the University of Cincinnati together, and we both lived in Los Angeles.
Bearcats!
Go Bearcats! We both lived here in Los Angeles, so we'd always meet up at Firestone Walker. There's one of the breweries up the street, and crush some beers, some pretzels, and it's true. PBR. I drank the fuck out of PBR in college.
PBR is not
I
bad.
remember
I'll
you drinking PBR, Blake.
I'll still get PBRs when I go to shows and stuff. I just want to like tall boy a PBR so I can feel like shit in like an hour and a half.
It's diarrhea in a can. I mean, you gotta love that.
It's true. When you hate yourself, drink PBR.
You never know. You never
Looking
know.
for sponsorships here, PBR.
So listen, I
Where you
will tell you this. I've been heavy on the Busch Light for a long time, and they still have yet to notice my stream, and I am very pained about it. I'm very pained. I wish I could tell you. I couldn't possibly count the number of people come in my stream and say, "You've got to be sponsored by Busch Light," and I'm like, nope. I'm just this big of an idiot.
Hilarious.
But yeah, so
That's fucking hilarious.
so we were talking about Batman like last year at one point, and I do have one more question. I asked you the question about Alfred. I have another question.
Absolutely.
Given the context of realism versus the cartoony side,
Mhm.
who does a better job, Heath Ledger or Jack Nicholson as Joker?
Okay, if we're talking cartoony, Jack Nicholson.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Well,
period.
But okay,
saying
so do you mean overall who's a better?
overall understanding that Heath Ledger is a more realistic version, Jack Nicholson's purposely a cartoony version. Who's more compelling in the context?
I would say
Ooh.
Ledger.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree because like I want to give Nicholson more credit,
Yeah.
but I just you can't. I don't. He's Leather. He's Heath Ledger. You just can't. He's the best one.
I mean, I have to agree because, like, whatever, Nicholson's great, and he's great for his movie, but I can't think of any other, like, I don't know, more moments. And I've seen both those movies a lot,
Right.
and the performance that sticks out to me is Heath Ledger, because not only is it like fucking scary and disturbing, but it's also funny in a really, really dark way.
Right.
Where Nicholson's performance is obviously very good and funny, but it doesn't nail that like kind of like a disturbing factor, which isn't the point of the film. But I think Heath Ledger can do both, and he does
Yeah.
in that movie.
Yeah, I would agree. I asked that question, curious where you guys would go. I'm not surprised you went the Heath Ledger route. I mean, I think Jack Nicholson's iteration of the Joker was at the time the best version of what we knew as the Joker. But what I appreciate about the direction that the character has gone, and I'll even include both Jared Leto and Joaquin Phoenix in this,
Okay.
Yeah.
as we've seen the Joker become a more demented, maniacal character and less of a comical
Yeah.
ha 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 bad guy. I think Ledger definitely embodies the character to the greatest degree. Like I said, I think Pizza actually, yes, Pizza, you said it better than I could say. Heath Ledger as Joker was lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
100%.
Reinventing a character. What a phenomenal follow-up comment as well,
Absolutely.
Pizzas. I I can't think of too many movie villains, period, who were as compelling in the way that they played the character as Heath Ledger playing the Joker. And like we talked about before, I think almost maybe to his detriment, but there are so many great, you know, movies and movie series and even television series with phenomenal bad guys. I mean, just there are some actors who have just made a living on being the compelling, creep you out of your socks bad guy, right?
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
are some actors who could never believably play a good guy almost to that point. And I think they're all chasing the feeling that we got by seeing Heath Ledger on screen for the first time. There is something that I've said for a long time. I couldn't put a price on being able to go back and watch The Dark Knight for the first time again.
Agreed.
Yes. Yes.
As phenomenal as some of these Batman movies and other movies have been that have come out since then, there are certain shows you watch and movies that you watch that the first time you see them, I'm not going to say it changes you, because I don't think I'm a different person after watching Heath Ledger as the Joker, but
Yeah.
it changes how you feel about characters that we thought we knew. And sometimes it changes how we feel about just being a viewer of great film and great cinema and great television in general. And when I say the list of movies or shows that I would apply that to, meaning I would give anything to go back and watch it for the first time again,
Yeah.
the list is incredibly short. I mean, very short. We're talking the first season of Stranger Things. We're talking the first time watching through the Daniel Craig James Bond movies. We're talking the first time watching Kiefer Sutherland as Jack Bauer in 24.
Yeah.
Phenomenal series.
Yeah.
Love that series.
Such a good series.
I could not put a price on being able to go back and watch The Dark Knight for the first time again. I saw it in theaters. I'm the type of guy, I love good film. I love going to the movies. I'm not big on seeing the same movie again that I've already seen, especially in theaters.
Yeah,
I saw the Dark Knight in theaters 7 times.
Yo,
7.
Dave's that kind of person. He
I
sees
love seeing
movies.
stuff multiple times.
So
I've never been a big fan of that though. But this one I was.
Like I hadn't seen I didn't see Batman Begins when it came out. I didn't really care. I wasn't into it. But I had a bunch of friends going to see The Dark Knight, and I was like, well, I guess I'll go. I'm going to go. I don't really know anything about it, and like whatever, it's fine. You'll probably still enjoy it. And I saw it and I was blown the fuck away and totally pulled into it. I wasn't expecting it necessarily to be that good, right? And I wasn't anticipating really loving it. So having seen that, I went back and watched Batman Begins, and then I saw Dark Knight Rises when it came out. I think opening day was the first movie I ever saw in a theater in Los Angeles. Was The Dark Knight Rises, and so, which I guess was 10 years ago today, which is really
Jesus.
weird.
That's
I'm
incredible.
so old. So so I like
we're
picked
all
up,
literally the same age, Blake.
everything hurts though for me. So
Yeah,
I don't
same
know how
here.
you fare on that. But anyway, not to old shame all of us. I
Too
was
late,
pulled
you
in. I
did.
was pulled back. I was pulled into the Christopher Nolan series through The Dark Knight, and it's a really rewatchable film. It really is.
Yeah, definitely.
I see. That's funny. Is that the Dark Knight trilogy, especially the Dark Knight, out of the
Mhm.
3 of them, I have it on Blu-ray, and I remember getting them for Christmas. Like, I asked for all 3, and I got all 3 one year, because I loved it so much. And I on occasion, probably once, I would say once or twice a year, I will go back and watch the Dark Knight or the Dark Knight Rises,
Nice.
and 100% for the villains in that, especially Heath Ledger as the Joker. But I said it, I touched it a little bit earlier. My hot take, and I've said this to Blake before, but my hot take is that I don't even want to say it now.
Oh, no, you had
Now you
can't
have
just
to.
tease us like this
have
and then
to.
fucking back out.
my
Come
hot
on.
take. My hot take is that, I think Tom Hardy did a slightly better job than Heath Ledger because he only had his eyes.
Now, I don't want to take anything away from Tom Hardy, because Tom Hardy was a bone chilling experience watching him bring Bane to life.
Yes.
But I think the biggest thing for me, and this is not a criticism of Tom Hardy, it's really nothing to do with the actors themselves.
Yeah.
I think the character of the Joker is better written than the character of Bane.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I agree
In
with
the
that. I
fact-
do agree with that.
In the fact that the Joker has no motive, he
Yeah.
has no agenda, he has no goal. Bane is a believable character
Mhm.
to a varying degree, but he's a believable character in that he's got an agenda, he has a purpose, he has a mission, he has a platform, if you will.
Right.
There's a certain side of Bane's character that you could attribute to not a political platform, because it's not really that, but a platform nonetheless.
Right.
You can apply absolutely none of that to the Joker, right? So if
100%
you're, and again, this is no criticism of Tom Hardy. He knocked it out of the park. No one could have played that character better, by the way. No one on planet Earth. Tom Hardy took a character in Bane that he was able to think about things like, okay, what's his motive? What's his end game? What's his agenda? What's his platform? And bring those into his portrayal and bring them to life. Heath Ledger didn't have a blank slate. He had a canvas that someone had just dumped dark paint on, and they said, here's your character. Go.
Right. Right.
And Heath brought that to life to a level that was so compelling to everybody that watched it. It's really, really rare, and you may never see it again, that somebody portraying a bad guy in a superhero type film is going to put up an Oscar worthy performance.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody realistically would have been satisfied if Tom Hardy would have won the Oscar for supporting actor as Bane. Again, no criticism to Tom Hardy. It's not his fault. It's the character that he played.
That's
Right.
a great point.
I think, I'm convinced, and you won't convince me otherwise, regardless of the real life story of Heath Ledger and what happened, he still wins that Oscar. I don't think the Oscar was a ceremonial type thing.
No,
I truly do not believe that it was. I
Yeah,
believe that the Oscar was his.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What happened was tragic, and it was what it was, and it created certainly a more dramatic backstory to the Oscars, which of course the Academy loves because they're a bunch of self-loathing, drama queens.
So true.
Sorry,
Yup,
didn't mean to say that
true.
out loud. Oh,
But true.
give him the old Midwestern. Oh,
Oops. Oh.
did I say that out loud right there? Oh, my bad. I'm just gonna sneak past you and pretend that didn't happen there. Okay.
Perfect.
But at the
Fucking
same
truth, though.
It is 100%. I mean, like I said, I think that there's a lot to the awards, the fact that none of the actors from, I keep talking about this, none of the actors from Stranger Things were nominated this year. The Emmys are a joke. Screw it. Nominate them for best drama. Who cares? Like, come on, give me a
Right.
break. But I think there's a lot that goes into it, but I think that Heath Ledger 100% had that. It was locked. It was a lock.
Yeah.
Everybody else was just trying to get potentially somebody in the crowd convinced that maybe they'll win, but everyone knew. Obviously, everything that happened, there was no way he wasn't going to win it after all that. But at the end of the day, I think that the difference between Tom Hardy and Heath Ledger was the fact that as phenomenal of an actor as Tom Hardy is, there was more for him to work on and more for him to work with. And Heath Ledger literally from nothing with nothing built that character into somebody that was so fucking compelling to the point where we are 12, 13 years removed from this movie and still talking about every bad guy in every cool action film has been chasing a performance so compelling to the point where I don't know if it will be topped. I truthfully, I don't know. It's, Icky brings up Joaquin Phoenix. I know you guys have a lot of hot takes in relation to that, but I mean, it's just my
Well,
take.
okay, I'll say this. Sorry, Blake. I'll say this.
No, go ahead.
after everything you just said, Thunder, I think I'm gonna go ahead and recant my hot take.
Oh,
No,
aren't
because
you a
it's
doll?
a good point. It's a very very valid point.
Reeling it back, brother.
But I will say real quick. I know Ted asked in the chat, "What's my favorite Tom Hardy film?" Legend by far is my favorite Tom
Okay.
Hardy film.
I don't know. I don't know if I could narrow it to one because he is that good.
I
He's
agree with you. I
so
agree
Is
with
that
you.
good?
But I think when a character can realistically do two different characters in the same movie, I think that kind of
What about Venom? It's two characters.
yeah, well, yeah, but
Kind
like
of.
he's the voice of one and he's on screen for the other. But in Legend, he's on screen for both, and I think he's fantastic in that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, bringing it back to Batman, you're absolutely right. That people are not chasing Bane, people are chasing Joker. Um, I guess because you had mentioned that nobody could play a better Bane than Tom Hardy.
Nobody.
Yeah, I
Nobody
agree.
has yet to play a better Bane or better Joker than Heath Ledger. People have gotten close. I would say Joaquin's gotten close.
Some differences.
They're different characters for sure, but I definitely think that I will explain my hot take is because my previous hot take is because that they were both nobody could play the character better. And simply for the fact that Tom Hardy only had his eyes and he was
Yeah.
so creepy and cold, and the one scene especially when he do you feel in charge? That scene I was like, yep, love it.
Your punishment must be more severe. That's a
Exactly.
great line. That's a great line.
Exactly.
I've got to take a really short pit stop. I'll be right back.
Yeah,
I
go
do
for
think-
it. Go for it.
Well, that's what I find interesting too about Tom Hardy in Christopher Nolan films. Christopher Nolan only cast this much of Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
Have you seen Dunkirk?
No, but I want to. I know he's in that and he crushes in that. But
It's great.
yeah, I would say.
Oh yeah, and Mad Max. Ted's right in the chat. Mad Max.
Yes,
It's
it's true.
Tom Hardy's and gets cast for his eyes.
His eyes,
And good for him.
sure. Good for him. He's got great eyes. What can you say?
Great eyes. God bless him.
But yeah, I don't know. I would say, oh god, he did a Tom Hardy talking about. He did a series.
Mhm.
I forget what it's called. I want to say it was on Netflix where he was main character. He was just like quiet, creepy. He's just I don't know. I'm such a hard on for Tom Hardy.
Tom
It's
Hardy,
ridiculous.
Warrior, great movie.
Yeah, Warrior is
yeah.
a really really good
MMA
one
with
too.
his
You see
brother.
Bronson.
Beautiful movie.
Mhm. Wonderful movie. Bronson's a good one too. I think that Tom Hardy has yet to miss personally.
Well, that's
Uh,
what actually. A quick funny story. I read that Tom Hardy asked Christopher Nolan after he got cast as Bane. He's like, "Oh, did you see me in Bronson and cast me for Bane because of that?" And Christopher Nolan goes, "What the fuck is Bronson?"
What's a Bronson?
Ted, Legend is such a great movie. I definitely suggest it. He plays two twin brothers that are completely different. It's like set in the goodness, the 30s maybe, the old gangster England. It's great. He's fantastic in that movie.
Hey, welcome
Oh,
back, my
love it.
friend.
Love it.
Good to see y'all.
Always
Fantastic.
good to have new people on the show.
Hi, I'm Nathan. I'm new.
Is that Batman?
No, it's
Man.
me, Vengeance.
Who is that dark, mysterious character?
It's vengeance.
Can we talk about not tonight, but can we have an episode at some point on how Goof Troop is an underrated like series and segment and group of characters?
Okay.
Yeah.
Goofy movie, not the Goof Troop, Goofy movie.
The Goofy movie, yeah,
it's great.
I fuck with the Goofy movie.
Yeah,
What's up, Frosty Shots? Welcome to the chat.
What's up, Frosty Shots?
Frosty sucks. Get out of here. kidding.
Sorry, according to Silver Thunder, you suck. So thanks for showing up, and thanks for
Yes.
sucking.
Yes.
Thanks for sucking in our chat.
Yes.
Thanks for
Blake does
sucking.
love sucking.
I love that. Sucking.
That's definitely a
The dark
a
end joke.
reference. It was one of our episodes. I forget which one, but It's in there somewhere.
It's in there somewhere.
I love how Pizza gets every reference and then is able to expand on them in chat. He's phenomenal.
He's crushing it in the chat.
Dude,
Yes.
yeah, Pizzas is the homie for sure.
Yeah, it's funny because he put like way earlier in the chat. Actually, I can still see it. Said Dave doesn't have the time. He works 60 hours a week. He hasn't finished The Boys. Fucking facts. I definitely don't have time. I definitely have not finished The Boys. I am already behind the 8 ball on so many things.
Nothing but shots, dog. Nothing
So-
but shots from Pizza.
So can I ask a question about The Boys? Because I've started watching the series.
Okay.
When does it hook you? Because I'm like probably 3 or 4 episodes into the first season, and I know better than to write off a show before you finish at minimum the first season. I'm waiting for it to hook me. Does it grab me later in the season?
Yes, I don't remember which episode.
Okay.
I was already a little hooked because we did scenes in my acting class that I was in. We did scenes from The Boys in class before it was a cast or anything. So like, yeah, I remember vividly. There's a scene where one of the characters is like kind of strung out and fuck you, Pizza. God damn, body shots.
Hey, Bradley Fanatic, welcome to the chat.
What's up, Bradley Fanatic?
Talk shit to Dave. Go on.
Oh God, please don't. I will rage quit. It lasted 5 minutes. Well, you didn't last long enough. Telling me I didn't get screen.
What else do you last less than 5 minutes at, Pizzas?
Oh,
Shots returning.
listen, Thunder's my backup. All right, Pizza. Thunder's my backup. So
Dave's got hitters out here, boys. I'm just saying.
absolutely.
Did you switch to water? What is it? 6 p.m. where you are? You old man.
It's
almost
7:43
8.
and my liver hates me.
You and Harvey Keitel got a big day tomorrow, do you?
I do. I got a whole lot of shit. Nothing, but I'll probably listen. Don't you come for me? Maybe shut up, man. Hold on.
All right. We'll segue. Dave, I really enjoyed you in the Hangover and Silver Linings playbook, by the way.
I was waiting. Somebody already mentioned it. I
well.
think Pizza was the one that set it up. with
I've
Bradley
been sitting on it for 2 weeks and hadn't said a word. I was waiting.
Yeah,
It's like if Bradley Cooper had a brother who was more relatable with tattoos.
Listen, I'll take it. I actually had I was out the other night sitting at I say bar, but it was the bar instead of a restaurant.
Thanks for giving me a drinking problem.
We
Yeah,
water
of course.
shamed him. That's
Yeah.
what I told Dave that I enjoyed him in the Hangover and Silver Linings playbook. So
hey, Pizza said the same thing to me. I got a text from him. He's like, bro, but Dave does look like Bradley Cooper.
No, it's Bradley Cooper's more relatable brother with tattoos. That's all I'm saying.
It's
I mean, I'll
Pizza
take it.
Bradley Cooper. I'm sorry.
So listen, I was sitting there and I was by myself just drinking, and I'm friends with one of the bartenders, and all of a sudden this lady walks over to me. She's like, "Listen, I don't know if you get this or not, but like me and my fiance over there were talking about how you look like Bradley Cooper, and I told him I wanted to come tell you, and he said I wouldn't, so now I'm coming to tell you." And I was like, "Oh, well, thank you, I guess." And then she's like, "Yeah, my fiance looks like Blake Shelton." And I was like, and I looked over and was like, holy shit, he does look like Blake Shelton.
Oh, he does?
He does. And the funny
Twist.
thing is,
Twist of fates.
she wanted me to go over and take a picture with them on their side of the bar so that she could post that her and Blake Shelton met Bradley Cooper tonight.
I'll say this. And people who are in here in chat who know me, I will say this. You look a lot more like Bradley Cooper than I do like Post Malone. But people always, dude, listen, this is gonna sound ridiculous. If I had $1 for every time someone came up to me and was like, "You look like Post Malone without tattoos," I wouldn't have to work. And I don't fucking see it. I love Post. Austin's he's a phenomenal talent.
Yeah.
Love him. I don't see it. Everyone's like, "You look like Post Malone." Like I've had people walk up to me in public and be like, "Bro, you look like Post Malone." I'm like, "No, I fucking don't. What are you talking about?" But like, this has been years. I don't know.
Welcome to the chat, AP, by the way. You know who I get often? Guess who I get often?
Okay, hold on. Let me can you stand up and do it like a twirl for me?
I'll show you my butt.
All right, then take your clothes off and
Well, welcome to Twitch Stream After Dark.
Yep. Casting couch.
Now
Cue
do you know?
the Pornhub
Now do you
intro.
know?
Hold on. Now, who do you?
So
don't
no,
know.
Ted. Okay, so Ted in the chat. Not to spoil this whole thing. I get people come up to me, and
I
they don't
remember
think
this.
I'm a famous person. They think I'm like somebody's friend they met at a wedding one time of their cousin's like niece. I'm generic white guy who you meet somewhere at one point. And I legitimately, I have people come up to me all the fucking time. I wish this was a joke. People come, hey man, and I'm too polite because I'm like, hey, what's up? Like, where the fuck do I know you? And I'm like racking my brain, and I've gotten hugs from people before I let this go on way too long. Before they realize, oh fuck, I don't actually know this person, and I'm like, and I feel bad that I didn't say anything. So yeah. That's who I am. I'm somebody's.
You're just.
Pizza says Blake's an NPC.
I am. I'm your favorite NPC, straight up.
Oh God!
Oh.
Hold on. So wait. So what you need to be the next year for Halloween is you need to just like wear a regular outfit, but something that puts like a glowing gold light above your head, because it's like, oh, now he's NPC with a quest for me. That's what you need. That's what you need. I mean, what's a video gate? What's a video gate, pizzas? That's a confusing typo because well, I was gonna say they're not close to. Look at a keyboard. Yeah, they're right next to each other. Joke's on me.
Just saying.
Hacked again by the chat. Oh well.
Damn it.
Just saying. If you catch me in public and you have no friends, pretend like I'm your friend. I'm not gonna tell you the contrary. I'm gonna go with it for way too long, and I'm gonna make it weird for a very long time. Just saying. You got a friend in me.
It's true. And you know what's funny? I have another Blake story. This is Blake's story to tell, but I'm just gonna set it up. Not only is we got Post Malone in the fucking chat next. Jordan, you fucking dick. Oh, he put Blake is fucking Plank from Ed and Eddie. Holy shit. Oh God, that's so fucking funny. Number one, first thing I want to say, I think we might have lost audio on Thunder, but also
Did we?
there we
you're
go.
back.
Now I hear you.
I have a shoddy mic cable, so
Got it.
it ain't easy being breezy, boys. That's
Okay,
all
now
I'm
that
saying.
now that our mod has taken down those wonderful pictures and I can focus, I'm gonna set Blake up for this story, but it's definitely his to tell. Not only is Blake too polite to tell you, hey, I don't actually fucking know you. He's also too polite to say to someone's face, hey, I'm not gay.
Okay, so used to work at a Walgreens. We set this up earlier in the stream. And so when I worked at Walgreens, I used to get dues numbers all the time, which is very flattering.
Like they
And
gave them to you, or you asked them for them.
Just give
does it matter?
It doesn't. I'm not judging. But contextually, it might be different. You know.
No, it's true. No, they would give them to me, and so so I would take these numbers, and most of the time I don't do anything because I'm too stupid to realize somebody's like hitting on me or like giving me their number. And so like I'm talking to people and like, oh yeah, and so I get a number slid to me, and I'm like, oh. It's one of those things where I'm like, okay, oh, I see what I did. I see what I did now. I see what I did. And so a coworker of mine who was working at the front, I was working at the picture. I was like the photography department, right? So the clerk was like, "Oh my gosh, you should text them." And I was like, "Oh man, I
No.
probably should let them know that I'm like I'm not gay, but like, so they're not expecting a reply from me." So 18-year-old Blake, being the polite Midwestern boy I am, I texted this guy and I was like, "Hey, thanks for texting me. I'm actually not interested, but like I'm flattered." And as soon as I
Oh.
sent that text, I was like, "Well, that was a mistake. I probably just should have, not at all because I don't have to." But I felt
Polite-
obligated. I felt fucking obligated. So I
Pol-
did. And he sent me a nice text back. He said, "Hey, no worries." And I was
Polite
like, "Cool."
Midwestern Blake. Oh, I felt obligated to let you know that I actually prefer the company of women, but thanks
do
for your
appreciate it.
text. Thanks for your text. It meant a lot to me, okay? I mean, come on.
Hey, though,
Pizza's
it's
in the chat.
2008. Have you seen The Dark Knight?
Pizza
can
in the
talk
chat
about that.
saying, "Of course he'd be an NPC and just talk to anyone."
And Ted in the chat, I do accept tips. Walgreens Blake always accept tips.
Lord, that's so funny.
But apparently not the same type of tips that some customers thought he did.
Right.
Listen, for enough money, you never fucking know.
You've been in LA long enough. I expected that out of you. It's one of those, I'm not gay, but $20 is $20, one of those
We all got
things.
rent to pay, my friend. We all
Hey,
got rent.
listen, listen, you don't get to live in LA by not paying rent. They'll kick you out. They'll send you back. They'll say, "You go back to the Midwest where you come from."
Listen, I'm just saying, if anybody out there needs like somebody to like a wedding date or something, I'll just show up. You can invite me. I won't even know you, and I'll just fucking show up and pretend like I know you because I'm that Midwestern. I'll just show
It's
up to
true.
somebody's
Blake
wedding
will do that.
and I'll pretend the whole night that we know
He's-
each other.
He's good at playing it off until they serve chicken and he immediately asks for ranch. Then you know.
Yeah, that's my tell. That's absolutely my tell.
It runs
Spot
in the
the-
family. I've been a dude
Spot
date
the-
at a wedding.
You've been a dude date at a wedding?
Yeah. My buddy and I went to a wedding, a Jewish wedding in Cleveland. I was his date. His wife was working. They all thought we were gay. We didn't tell them we weren't
No, that's fine. I think that's great. Leave a
because
little
there's still a
ambiguity.
chance, Jake. I love you.
I mean, how do you know if you've never tried, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Listen,
I don't know.
Never tried.
How do you know you don't like sucking?
Man's got a point. Man's got
Gotta
a
go.
point.
You've sucked. You know.
I mean, so I listen. I could tell that Major League Baseball wasn't for me before like getting a shot to play for the Reds. So we don't have to go full tilt with it, but
Fair enough.
But
Fair point.
I might have played dabbled in a little high school baseball. Frosty Shot says it's not ice cream. You don't try it. As expected, we have completely derailed this stream about Batman filmography.
That's fine.
Well, it's
Completely derailed
listen,
it.
I would just like to say at this point, I think, seeing as I do, thanks pizzas work 60 hours a week, I do think we have to shut it down. But that's the perfect way to shut it down.
Dave's shutting us down. According to pizzas, and I agree with this. I will be your platonic gigolo. Hit me up. Hit me in the chat. Hit me on Discord. Whatever, dog. I'm here for you. I love you and I accept you.
Blake's Tinder profile. Interested in nothing other than appearing at various social events with you. Expect nothing in return. Please have a cute dog that I can pet and ranch for my chicken.
Ranch or bust. I'm just saying. I don't have
listen.
many requirements here.
As someone who is unfortunately active on Tinder, that is every generic white girl's profile. You just said every generic white girl's profile.
I
Dogs and
didn't
ranch.
I didn't quite
Yeah.
realize that was Dave talking because he's got such a large what do you call the puffy thing on your
Bulbous.
microphone,
Yeah.
and I didn't see that it was him, and I thought it was Jordan, and I was going to be like, is that really something you want to put out here on the airwaves? Because
Here,
I
how
know
about-
that I know that the Mrs. Jordan will have your balls in a vice.
Hey, we're both on this site. We're just
There
trying
we
to
go.
run into each other like in the newspaper, like that song. So pina
We
colada.
could,
Oh, yeah.
Jordan. Hold on, Jordan. We live close enough together. We could do a social experiment where we both join Tinder and see how long until we match up together.
Do the Pina
know-
Colada song in real life.
You make a funny
Love
point
it.
because Blake and I were talking that we were gonna do an IRL raid on your channel when you're live. We're just gonna beat the fuck out of your windows and just be like, "We're here."
We're gonna actually raid your house.
It's a raid, a legit raid.
Count me in. I'm in.
It turns out
Listen,
swatting
I'm just-
is not cool, and we're not gonna do that to you.
Just saying, I would ask for a warrant.
Oh,
I'm just saying you would get one because Poe's in chat, and he would supply that shit.
Yeah, one of those things. So anyway,
Listen, even though we're confusing the term raid with swatting, we're still gonna do it.
yeah.
Expect us to break into your
We're
house.
new to Twitch, but we'll show up at your fucking house.
Perfect. Is there any other way? to
I'm not sure where to go from here from a comedic standpoint. Dave, your thoughts?
Thanks for joining us tonight, guys. Check us out on.
Yes, you're right. Listen, okay. To wrap this whole thing up, Dave's got some office work to do in the morning, post office work. He's got mail to deliver. So if you want your mail, you're gonna let him go quietly. So don't you fucking talk shit to
Because
Dave.
we
in the
have
chat.
a postal hive mind, and I will make sure your mailman stops delivering your mail.
It's true.
Wherever
Don't
you
fuck at
live.
the post office. Yes, thank you all. Thank you, Nathan. Thank you, Silver Thunder, for showing up
Yes.
here and bullshitting with us. Because
We appreciate
been
it
fun.
so
we
much.
have we have
Been
a
a
lot
lot
of
of fun.
bullshit. This has been a blast. Check out his stream. He's gonna be streaming right after this. So go do that. We're gonna raid our channel over to his.
Absolutely.
We're gonna hang out.
So
It's gonna be great.
if that's your plan, I'm gonna go ahead and
Yeah, hop off.
dip
get
on
outta
out of
here,
here and get
do your
everything
thing.
set up. We'll see you guys in a few minutes.
Awesome.
Appreciate
Thanks,
it. Thank
buddy.
you.
See ya.
So we obviously Dave and I here we run a podcast. We run a podcast.
We sure
called
do.
First Prize Films. You can get it on all your podcast platforms. We like to take two movies of the same genre, separated by a decade, and pit them against each other. This week's episode that came out was Alien Invasion Horror. We
Yep.
talked about Quiet Place 2018 versus Signs 2002. It was a good time. So
It
we
was a
got a
great
couple
time.
more episodes this season, but we're streaming here every week.
Every
So yeah, whatever. Dave, what do you got for us here?
So also we do have our website, firstpricefilms.com, and be sure to keep following us on here. If you haven't yet, please follow us. Please hit the notification bell to see when we're going to be live,
Yeah.
because some days it will change because we do have schedules that conflict sometimes, but
Yeah.
we will be on every week. And here starting soon, I think we're going to be on twice a week on
Yeah,
Twitch.
we might end up doing twice a week here for a bit here. We're
Yeah.
about between seasons in our podcast, so we're going to be streaming a little more, talking about movies. But we want to talk with you guys. We want to hang out with you guys. You're all a blast
Absolute
to hang out with.
blast.
And
Absolute
the more
blast.
you talk shit to Dave, the more responsive I am to your chat messages. I'm just
It's
saying.
so true.
I'm not telling you to bully
Listen.
Dave, but like bully Dave a lot as much as you can. I love him, but talk shit to him.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Just saying.
fair. I
Yeah.
can handle it as long as we're not talking about Scream. Anyway, thanks for coming out, guys.
No, I
Um,
appreciate you. I want
lastly-
to make sure Silver Thunder stream is up, so when he starts, we can send everybody his way because he's awesome. I really
Great.
really
Yes.
love his streams. He plays a lot of MLB. He's been playing Fall Guys recently, which is really fun. The dude is fucking awesome, and he plays good music on his streams.
It's fantastic music.
Yeah.
Great.
right,
So,
cool.
thank you guys so much. Really appreciate you. And yes, pizzas, I am a good sponge. And we will be posting every week or every day. I'm sorry, on our socials. But yeah, we'll be back next week on stream.
Yeah, love you guys. Catch you guys next week.